personalities was I mean, everybody's thought process about it was really informative to a lot of people, because for the things that I didn't fully explain, like it was really crazy because Triple Cup, he knew about this thoroughly, so he was like, man, and then
isn't for Verizon is basically breaking the net neutrality laws anyway with their deal with Netflix on their mobile phone.
Well, they was trying to do a merger, AT&T, well, Comcast, and I think it was Comcast and AT&T. It was Comcast and some other big company that was trying to make a merger about 4 years ago when it got busted up, and because they was thinking that the net neutrality was going to go through, but the people got pissed off and they let it be known, and so so Congress and the president shut it down. So now they brought it back up again. The president has signed on it, but it still has to go over through. Yeah, it's up to Congress, and now so the people got to go and let Congress know. We've already seen protests and things of that nature, but what's so bad about it, Snaps, is the fact that for whatever that you pay on your service right now, okay, let's just say that they can
roughly like $110 a month.
Okay, so just think that they'll offer you a plan for, let's say, $40, $30 to $40 a month. That's just to have the internet, right?
Yeah.
Well, they'll split it up for whatever package that you might want to use. So it's separated by ISPs. So for instance, if you like watching YouTube,
my bad. I don't mean to. I'm sorry for interrupting, but Snap, do you see who is in the chat right now? None other than the man I used to hang with on a daily basis, man. We used to get drunk and play FIFA, NBA 2K. Him, my boy Migo, he's actually like a hometown friend. My boy Swaz is in the chat. What is up, brother?
That's cool.
He said nothing.
He's chilling. Yo, what is going on, Alicia?
We're supposed to all hear what he's supposed to say. I mean, come on.
No, I'm reading. See, this is where I get a chance to really read the chat. Otherwise, you know me. I'm trying to trying to be a good kind of like moderator / host for the show. So sometimes I don't get to read a lot of the stuff that's going on. I know Alicia knows that. She caught me out like 2 weeks ago. She's like, "Oh, you don't say hi to anybody or anything like that." It's like
rude.
I know.
Well, what's up, everybody in the chat? Xbot, while you read the chat and chat with the chat, can we have K-Mega finish explaining this to me real quick? Because this really is something that is very interesting.
Yeah, no, basically it's basically every ISP can have the advantage of charging people money to watch their stuff, and they can block your usage with data caps and making sure that like you can't watch it. It'll be so horrible that you can't watch it. So
or they can block it entirely. So like for example, say Disney owns Comcast, just hypothetically, right? And they're like, oh, we're starting our own service at Disney for streaming. You can't watch Netflix if you're through Comcast. Like they can just do that if they decided to. Right,
and unless you pay. And so basically, we were talking about it on GRG, and with me and Don doing the Dev and the Gamer was breaking it down. There's this graph that was made out in Portugal, and then there was another graph that was made for the United States. That basically, like, they had a package plan for where you had, if you liked watching a lot of streaming, like they had Netflix, Hulu, YouTube, watching YouTube movies, stuff like that. They had a package, and that was $10 a month on top of whatever that you're going to pay for your through your provider, your internet provider. And then like if you like to do Twitter and go through Reddit and like to look at Facebook, things like that, or MySpace, they have a plan for that. That was like $5. They nickel and dime you. It's like the ultimate. Everybody's pissed off at loot crates.
Oh, it's like cable.
Ultimate loot crate.
It's like cable.
It's like cable. It's exactly like cable. Like if you want a sports package, you'll get this. If you want and it's all separated. Like if you into Pandora and Last FM, stuff like that, they'll charge you a percentage, and it can come out to be well more than what we're paying right now.
Yeah, exactly. And I heard things like they'll even throttle speeds and broadband kind of like activity when it comes to like Netflix or something like that unless you like pay for the package. Like you can possibly still watch it, but it's going to be so like kind of run down, like less than 480 and buffering like crazy and all sorts of good stuff. Like,
well, here's the problem, right? Like, I'm a big believer of the free market, but the problem with internet providers, there is no free market, right? There's only usually one or two providers, so they're not competing for your dollar, so they can kind of just do whatever they want for the most part. If you had like 5 or 6 providers and they're competing for your basically your dollar, this stuff doesn't spin out of control. But like the worst case scenarios that K Mega is talking about is it can spin out of control because there's nobody to compete. Right. What are you gonna do? Just go without? I mean,
right? Because because the big companies is going to basically outsource to smaller companies, and for the the mom and pop internet people that want to try to just start a ISP, they're going to get overran because they're not going to have enough money to withstand what the big companies can do. And sadly, the biggest thing about this is it's going to affect the gamers because they were showing a package to where people had to pay for a Steam package. So it's one of the biggest things that the PC community always brags about is that they don't have to pay extra like we do for PSN and Xbox Live. That's going to change because they would have to pay for EA. Even they had in that package Warcraft. There was Top Gamer or something like that, and then there was Steam in that package for an additional $10 on whatever the package is
if they wanted to. Like, they could do that.
Now, what company do you, Mega? What company is doing these packages? Do you know? Like, is it Comcast?
Well, it's just a rough draft. It's a rough draft right now because it's not into law yet.
Comcast has been on Twitter saying, "Oh, we believe in net neutrality. Even if they take it out, we're still giving you the same services no matter what."
Yeah,
and all that good stuff.
That's what they're saying. Well, I got Cox Cable here in my area, and basically it's owned by Comcast. So they can talk about that. There's supposed to be like 500 companies that's all about net neutrality. And again, it's one of those things where they're trying to confuse the public by making them believe like, oh no, we'll keep your services the same until an individual will go out and say, no, I want to make more money off of my ISP.
And then that's what here's the thing. This is what people definitely need to do. If that's the case, that if there turns out to be a couple companies that don't do all this and they try to stay with the net neutrality throughout, like they don't do these different packages and all that good stuff, and because they have the ability to stay where they're going, like, you know what I'm saying? They have the ability to still offer the service as is. If there's any companies out there that do that, even when, because the net neutrality laws, they are going away. All right, they're going away. All right, so whatever company decides that they're going to stay within those regulations and do their business the same way, everybody has to gravitate towards them. You see what I'm saying? The ones that do that, and then if by some rhyme or reason they end up like if they're making enough money off getting all this done, if everybody's gravitating towards them and they're giving the services as we have them now, and the other companies are doing all these packages and all this bullshit, they should inherently stay the way that they are. You know what I'm saying?
Well, here's the problem with that, right? So a CEO, like a company, has that stance, right?
Brian Baker called us fear mongers.
But if you take a CEO of a company, right, and he's like, okay, yeah, we will never do that. Like, even if this gets passed, we won't do it, right? And he's a man of his word. What happens is then people will push to have that service in their area, right? Once that service is flooded into those areas, the problem still lies the fact that his position is not written in pen; it's written in pencil, right? So, people, the board can say, hey, you're out, buddy. We're going to do this other thing. And there's nothing stopping that, right? So, they may use that as a ploy to get into more areas than normally they wouldn't be able to. And so the problem is it's just so lopsided. There's not enough services.
Right. This really sucks because this is just another byproduct of what's going on politically. And I hate when politics start reaching into places
This is what we talked about on GRG last night, was that this isn't a political situation. This isn't, regardless of, the president you know, who likes President Trump or who can't stand President Trump. This is more about the public.
Trump actually, I saw this like a couple months back. Trump signed off on the fact that the government isn't going to try to fight them taking away the net neutrality laws. All right.
Yeah, he signed off on it. And he signed off on it on the 22nd. So
Obama was the one who got everybody together and kind of like constructed this whole thing.
Well, at first, you know what I'm saying? At first, Obama was going to allow to take away net neutrality, but the people stood up and said, no, this isn't going to fly. And so the FCC and the FCC stopped that big merger between AT&T and with Comcast and whoever else. I forgot who else it was.
The government, like a certain level where you become a monopoly, it needs approval by the government essentially. And
right.
There's certain stipulations that are voted on if they do allow those mergers to happen or occur. And so a lot of times when they do that, they put fixed pricing or a cap or whatever it may be to allow for those sort of things. So, you know, the people don't get screwed.
Right. So the people need to just stand up and demand that this doesn't happen and we keep net neutrality, because, you know, the internet has been, you know, has been the place to where we've been familiar of going on our search engines, because they had a package for the search engine as well, for Bing, for Google, for ass.com. It's ridiculous. But anyway, like I said,
he said ass.com. Ass. Oh,
not ass.
Wow, where is your mind?
I was like, damn, man, where have you?
No, I thought the same thing. I thought he said ass, and I was like,
I thought UK Dad started moderating GRG or something, man. He's like ass.com.
No. Livewire is not on here. Our Donald Trump is not on here tonight. But anyway, the thing of it is that, like, all, you know what I'm saying, just doing a shameless plug, you know what I'm saying, just go check out my channel, you know what I'm saying, K-Mega45's channel, and watch the GRG podcast. And that's the first topic that we talk. And then we'll listen to the Dev and the Gamer, which is me and Don. And we talked about it in full detail. So everything that you want to know, you can get it there, because I know that we got other topics that other people want to hear. So, but it's very interesting, and people need to. Everybody's affected. It doesn't matter what party that you affiliate yourself with, Republican, Democrat, or you just don't give a damn about politics. This is really a serious situation, man. And it's going to really affect gamers out there.
It's gonna definitely affect the gaming community. They're gonna start nickel and diamond. You know, before you know, like, one of the things I was very happy about, and we've seen this coming, like when it came to like data caps and stuff. Like you kind of see it kind of like rolling over the country, like little by little. And I'm over here on the East Coast. We haven't really had to deal with data caps at all. Like our internet service is unlimited, which is great, because for now we have 3 Xbox Ones in the house that are downloading games and stuff like that.
I just created my gravestone. Sorry to cut you guys off.
Was it the I am hungry feed Mel thing, or?
Yes. I'll share it on Twitter.
Oh goodness. But so I've been kind of like living comfortably, but I've been hearing it, you know, being a part of the YouTube gaming community, Twitter, all that good stuff. You know, you have friends across the country and across the world, but especially across the country, you've been hearing it kind of like creeping, like a blanket just slowly moving across the country in terms of like data caps and stuff like that. And I really don't want that, man.
No, I hopped into this, so I don't know what you guys are talking about.
We were still in the pregame, man. We were just talking about that net neutrality stuff that's been going on.
I can say, from living overseas, I've never had a problem with data caps or data limits like that when it comes from home Wi-Fi or internet services. I mean, like, I don't know if that's, and someone that's like not in the United States, please chime in on this, but like, I don't think they have this issue.
No, they don't. And that was another thing of it that, you know, a lot of people from overseas was like, well, that's just an American problem. But there was
like over there.
But there was a Portugal newspaper that brought up the fact that, like, look, you may think that it's not going to come and affect you, but look at this. And they showed this graph, and I left the link in the description on the podcast, where the newspaper was saying, look at what we're already trying to do out here in Portugal. So if you don't think that if they pass to not have any net neutrality, if you guys think that it's not going to come over overseas and affect you in any type of way, you're sadly mistaken. This is a really big deal, and they were just showing that they were splitting up their package services, kind of like what we get right now with cable. You know what I'm saying? When we have, and it's crazy. So, we
live in a capitalist society, man. It's based off of making money. So, like,
well, dude, if they can do it over here, if they can launch it here, and if they can get it done here, and not catch a lot of feedback or whatever, other parts of the world, it's going to be a lot easier for them to do it. You see what I'm saying? They're starting the front line in the hardest area. You know, if there's a big kind of like uproar and stuff like that, we have the ability to possibly change things, right? But if they can get it like installed and kind of like situated here, then the rest of the world is going to be a lot easier for them to do it everywhere else. Let's just be
internet has basically become a utility. You know, so and I can tell you just from being in the military, like, you know, when they had this whole 2013 launch about, you know, well, the government makes the internet, you know, if you're on a submarine, you should be able to get it. We don't get internet off the submarine. Like, the internet, the military pays for the internet too. We go through the same commercial satellites that you guys go through. We just have to do different things to encrypt it for our use and purposes. So, like, we pay for internet too. It ain't free just because we created it or whatever you want to, you know. We go through third party, you know, like using the internet for the stuff that we do in the military costs a shitload more money than what's that?
My bad. I was gonna say, you know, if you are in a submarine at some point in time, I have a console for you, and it's called the Xbox 360.
Oh my god,
it won't work, dude. Trust me. I was just deployed recently with my Xbox One, and I could not get online in the location I was at, and it had Wi-Fi. It was just so shitty, it doesn't work. So anybody who, like, you know, anybody who's like on the, like, I guess that was bashing, you know, I forgot who said that. Fucking Mike, not Mike. Fucking
Donnie D.
Donnie D said that.
Donnie
so, like,
D.
You know,
Z's boy.
Anybody bashing him for that? Like, I can tell you right now, the internet, depending on what location you're at when you're deployed, does not work. You have thousands of people trying to use a small bandwidth of Wi-Fi, not only just for Xbox, for PC, for PlayStation 4, for pretty much everything. Phone calls, Skype, Facebook Messenger, like anything. So like that tunnel is not that large, specifically to play games. So like that's bullshit. So like the whole, you know, net neutrality, the whole shit that they're trying to do in 2013, I can see the pros for it, and I can see a lot of cons for it for people like myself who are in the military who could not use internet in that aspect. So fuck net neutrality.
all right. Well, damn, man. Yo, Mega, it's great that, like, you are one of the few kind of like YouTube channels that really touched on it. Yeah, definitely one of the few podcasts within the community, if not the only one, that really talked about it at length with GRG. And of course, you know, the Devin the Gamer is an awesome show on your channel as well. So people definitely got to go to your channel and check these things out, man.
Appreciate it.
You know, as far as what we're doing, we didn't even do the intro yet, so I don't know. You guys ready for that?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. All right. Let's go, people.
We got to.
What's going on, people, and welcome to another episode of the Next Podcast. Guys, I cannot believe it, but we hit episode 70. That is 70 episodes of gameplay and gaming news slammed together with a very intelligent gaming podcast, I might say. You know, a panel to go with all of that. Guys, let's go down the list and hit off the introductions. First, coming from that Southern California igloo, you know, he did save the world at least, what was it, 3 times? Of course, I am talking about Dark Goldblum.
Hey, what's up, everyone? It's good to be here tonight, man. It's been a while since I've been on the show, but I'm ready to get into these topics and get talking about some games, man.
Nice. And there is a topic coming on later on in the show where basically I think it might be the first time that Dark is going to kind of take over the reins. Something about there's a certain developer talking about the Xbox One X, and I can't wait to hear you kind of take over on that. I know.
Actually, I thought it was about me trying to save the world the fourth time. I think it was.
As long as it's not top secret, man. As long as you can actually talk about it, we can go into that as well.
I need people. I need a resistance, you know.
All right, man. We can't use this as a recruiting platform. But let's go next on the list. The first lady of the next podcast, live on the panel, and it's not even like via her iPhone or anything. She's actually at her computer right now. Of course, I am talking about Oh Snaps.
What are you talking about? I'm outside on my iPhone right now.
Are you really? Because that sounds really clear. I'm about to say it sounds
everybody?
Really clear.
Happy Saturday. Fun stuff and things.
And look at her picture. It's just it's a montage of different hair colors, basically, when she talks.
Yeah. I don't have much to say today.
Yeah, she said she thinks our topics are boring. I don't think so. I think we got.
I'm not the only one who thinks that.
We got a lot of interesting things to talk about. I can't wait to talk about the whole.
I'm gonna make shit up. Where I made my grave, okay, while we were sitting here talking about neutrality, which I'm interested in.
I was gonna say you got this far. You got this far making shit up, so I don't think it's a problem. But it's a lot lighter of a kind of like a live stream this Saturday compared to last Saturday, right? You went 24 hours for charity.
Man, oh man, I sure did. You were there with me. I mean, not for a full 24 hours.
I did take a nap though.
It was rough, but it was well worth it. We raised $1,300 for the Connecticut Children's Medical Center. So thank you everybody who donated, who stopped in, and supported the stream. It was awesome.
Yeah, and huge shout out to Brian Baker, who was the winner of the Xbox One X. I think it's on its way to you as we speak. Yeah. And enjoy, man. Enjoy that.
I want it.
All right, well,
just start another 24 hours. Yeah, right. Give me a month.
She's been telling me I'm next, but I gotta wait until early next year. So it'll be 2018. I will be doing a 24-hour charity live stream. I'm gonna get an IV of straight Colombian dark roast for those 24 hours. So it's just gonna go straight into the veins. And
I think you should do a pure Battlefront 2 to get all the hate too when you're.
No, I'm doing Minecraft. What are you talking about? 24 hours of Minecraft.
Gosh. Oh wow.
But next on the list, man, dude, you're killing my intros here. Coming live from the 405, and he's just trying to talk to the intelligent gamers out there. Of course, it is my brother K Mega.
What's happening, everybody? You know what I'm saying? L Mega, as aka Legendary Mega, is in the house, and and it's all about keeping Dark Otter, that's his new name.
Now?
Dark Otter in place, and have him give a great performance tonight. So, man, thanks to be here as usual, and let's go ahead and get this party started.
Nice.
I really appreciate that. But you know what? I saved the world 3 times, okay?
3 times.
Saved
I
it
get
3
no
times.
respect. No respect.
That's fine. I mean, you can have saved the world with that flapping tail that you have.
Dang.
Oh,
that's savage, dude.
Oh man.
All right, next on the list is that gaming news media assassin himself. Yes, I am talking about my boy Predator.
What's up, man? I made it here just in time to get into the live discussion, pregame discussion. So happy to be here. Glad to be back on this week. Shout out to Miss Melski over there for her achievements this past weekend. I was able to tune in for a couple of hours and listen in and drop some money into the donation. So good work on her part. And who was it that won that Xbox console?
It was Brian Baker.
Yeah, I call
congrats to that guy too, man.
I call him the sunshine of Xbox Live. He is Mr. Positivity himself. Anybody who's been in a party with him on Xbox Live knows what I'm talking about and knows how sarcastic I am right now. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, we do.
All right, am I missing any? Oh, hold on, my lights are flickering. I know what that means. It's time for everybody to stand up, show that respect, kiss that ring. The Don.
Hey, what's up, guys? I just want to point out Dark Arter, his natural habitat is salt. Just want to point that out, just in case anyone missed that.
Oh my goodness. Short and to the point. I like it, man. We did. That was a really cool pregame. Thank you for kind of breaking down net neutrality, Mega. It is something that, like you said, it's going to affect the gaming community. I have a feeling this isn't the last time we're going to hear about it, and it's good to see that, like I said, out of the podcasting community, man, GRG was right there. You were right there on your channel, you and the Don, and getting that information out there. So that's great, man.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
No, man.
Couldn't have done it without the Donster. You know what I'm saying? He was ready. It was late at night when we did the Dev and the Gamer, and that's when he's on my good side. You know what I'm saying? He still had his Cambodian tit milk, but you know what I'm saying? But he was and he was ready to go.
To be totally honest with you,
he was looking like that.
Wow, who's making that noise? I don't know. It's horrible.
It sounded really bad.
Now I want to do it.
That's the noise he was making on the show, because I was like, "What is that, Don?" He's like, "It's my tea milk." I'm like, "Oh,
like use a damn straw." I'm like, "No,
yeah.
no, you gotta lap it up like a
He was a straight teeth.
Yeah. Well, guys, everybody in the chat, you can tell what like not being on for 2 weeks does, man. We are a close knit panel of family, and coming back together, going live for you guys. It's one of the things that we absolutely love to do here. Guys, we had Turkey Day this past Thursday. I want to know how did you guys spend it after you ate? So I don't know. Let's hit up. Yo, Pred, what did you get into any games or anything on your Turkey Day, man, or did you just fall asleep, kind of like what me and Snap did?
It was just me and my daughter, man. So instead of making a giant ass turkey, we just made I call them mini turkeys. We made Cornish hens.
Oh, nice.
And, so we did that. And after I ate, I came here and played a little bit of Ghost Recon, and just pretty much passed out and watched my Cowboys lose. So that's it. That was a rough game.
That was a rough game. That was dirty.
That's it, man.
I gotta say, I am never disappointed when the Cowboys lose, though. You know, New York Giants for life. I'm just saying. Did you just whisper hater?
That's all I gotta say about that.
Oh man.
Oh my god.
All right, yo, Don, what did you do, man, after your Turkey Day? Once you got filled, I know, like you probably had a meat only Turkey Day. It was probably like turkey and bacon and ham.
Turkey wrap.
I smoked about 15 turkey legs for our family. Yeah, it was, and they were monsters. I mean, like literally, some of them were bigger than my calf. They were huge. So.
Any gaming afterwards, man? What happened?
No, I wasn't at home, so I didn't really do a lot of gaming. Like the house we were at, they were doing a lot of like WoW and stuff like that. So like I don't play WoW, so I just
when they say WoW, you're like meh.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm like I don't like that game. So yeah, I just hang out with the family, all that good stuff, and then came home and play. So going through that Assassin's Creed, you know how long that game's gonna take. So.
Dude, I can spend like 60 hours in that game and just hunt animals, so and be happy with it, man. And yo, Abacab, man, I know that I was trying to ignore that. It's a repressed memory. Like I'm trying to completely forget that the Giants lost as well. So we're just not even gonna talk about that anymore. All right, man.
Hey, you guys, can we get some likes up in here? We got 80-something people watching. Got 30-something likes. Come on, where's the love?
Wait. Giant. They're giant losers? Is that what you're saying?
No, not at all. Not at all.
You're trying to cause trouble here.
Well, that's not trouble. I'm just.
He's trying to get me to cash that ticket into Utah, man, and go be non-violent all over him.
Listen here. This
all over him. What?
I don't know if you can
that didn't sound right at all, but
that non-violent
damn, man.
part about it. Yeah, man.
Most people I hang out with on Xbox Live, they would let that pass and be like, that's just Xbox being Xbox. We know what you meant, but my next podcast fam, man, they're gonna hang me out to dry for stuff like that.
Bro. You get that tinky winky.
Oh, tinky winky dead.
Well, yo, Mega, what did you do for your Turkey Day, man? Was there any gaming involved? What happened?
Yeah, I did some gaming. I played on some Battlefront. I bought rocket cars or soccer cars.
Dude! Oh, we got to get together on that, man.
I got Rocket League because I've always said I was not going to buy that game unless it was $10 or less on the Xbox because it was free on the PlayStation. And so when I seen it, I said I'm going to go ahead and get it. And I bought Dos Ex. I bought about like 3 or 4 games, and so anyway, I played Battlefront. I played Assassin's Creed, and then I played what was the other game? It was I didn't really care whatever the game that I played there because it must have sucked because I can't remember. But I've been really on that Battlefront 2 really hard. I'm tripping. I was playing COD. And I made me some gameplay for some COD.
No, man. From what I heard, you weren't playing COD. It was your son.
Oh yeah. My haters were saying that it was my son playing COD. So yeah, whatever.
Were you doing that good that they had to say like, no, that can't be Mega?
Yeah. Well, there was somebody in my comments when I showed the video. They were saying, no, there's no way your old ass got reflexes like that. And so I was like, okay. I said my son is a lot better than me. So. No, I just had a good game. I just had a good couple of games that I could show, and let's not show every game that I had, but let's just show the good ones.
Abacab is trying to give you a pronunciation class real quick about Deus Ex. Just want to let you know.
What Deus Ex?
Yeah, Deus Ex.
Listen, man, let me be country. I don't.
What do you say, Deus Ex?
I said Deus Ex.
I said Deus Ex. Deus Ex. Let me be country, man. I'm deep in the country, man.
But yo, Mega, you are one of the few people when it comes to Star Wars Battlefront 2 that like at least on my friends list or people I'm talking to that is actually digging it. You're really into that game, huh, man?
I really like it. I don't think I think it's unfair for people that has bought the game that enjoy it. There's other people out there that's shaming them because they bought the game. Look, I have not paid any extra for whatever I bought for the game, whatever I purchased for the game. I don't care about loot crates or anything like that. I just go by game credit. I like to grind. So it's but for what it is, it's a hell of a lot better than the previous game. And the story is actually really good. I'm at the end. I'm going to go ahead and beat it tonight. And man, it's beautiful. It's one of the best looking games that's out right now.
That's what, and I know graphics don't make the game, and there's a lot of people out there, that claim to be gamers, and it's all about graphics to them. But I do have to say that engine, that Frostbite engine, oh man, like it, especially on the X, like it holds up really, really well. It performs incredible, and it makes that
wasn't always the case too, right? Didn't Frostbite used to kind of like be pretty shitty with other battlefields and stuff like that?
Well, it was, I think it was an overall resolution issue.
Yeah.
And I definitely think over time, and Don, you can chime in on this if you want to, if you have any knowledge of the Frostbite, with the X compared to like the original Xbox One and the S, but it just seems like it's making games look absolutely phenomenal, and probably across the board now, right? Like,
these games are using DirectX 12, from my understanding as well.
Well, it's using small bits of it, right? So they're implementing more and more as time goes on. But the harsh reality is they're making some of the most beautiful games this gen, right? On the Frostbite engine itself.
Yeah.
And so, now that we've got consoles that can do higher resolutions, effectively what these engines are designed to do, right? Then that's not the conversation anymore. It's about how these games look regardless of what platform they're on. And the Frostbite engine looks phenomenal. I mean, they just know what they're doing across the board. So it's going to get better.
It's in my opinion, it still can't make FIFA look any better though. Like they need like the cloth to move and everything like that. They have to shout out to 2K, in my opinion, and be like, hey guys, how do you do that jersey with the movement and stuff before I really.
Yeah, I mean that stuff gets implemented over time, right? I'm sure they'll integrate more Havoc type stuff into the engine as time goes on. But we'll see where all that goes. But you know, the engine looks good, the game looks great, and hell, I'm looking forward to playing that game when time comes. So
nice. Oh snaps! Was there any gaming after Turkey Day for you? I know we had a crazy meal going on. Mom, sister was over. We had homemade managot, like homemade pies were everywhere. But what did you do after you filled yourself up?
I whined and cried in bed about my stomach ache until I passed out. And then I had to wake up and go to work, and I didn't eat the entire day at work because my stomach was still full, I think.
It was funny. Like I
kept saying I'm gonna game. I'm gonna play while the turkey cooks, and then I fell asleep. Mm-hmm. And then nothing happened. I failed.
I mean, it was a really, really good dinner, but like I'm in the same boat with O Snaps. What happened was she started with, her stomach ache and everything like that, and I was gonna, the Xbox One X is in our bedroom, right? And I was gonna sit down and play some games or whatnot, but I would have been sitting in kind of like her spot on the bed as well. So I think I kind of gave that up, and I watched most of The Mummy. Is that when I put on The Mummy?
I don't know, but I'll tell you one thing. I hadn't really eaten much meat before Thanksgiving either, because I went from being a vegetarian to going back to eating meat. So I'm sure that's, part of the reason why my stomach hurt. And I drink soda. I never drink soda, so I had a little bit of soda because everybody else was doing it. And
I am so proud of you right now, Snaps. You don't even know. That puts such a smile on my face.
I know, but I haven't eaten bacon. I'm not going back to pork. So.
Whoa.
That's the best meat to eat.
I know, right?
No. She's got to pace herself. She started off with Xbox.
I'm sorry. The side of a pig's ass.
She started out. The first time. The first day she
side of ass is delicious in general.
Yeah, man.
I might get there eventually, guys. I might.
Keep me away from the pig asshole, but let me have the pig ass meat, and that bacon is man. That's a succulent meat, man.
He said succulent. That might be the first time on the next podcast that the word succulent was used.
Indeed,
succulent.
You know what's funny when K-Mega says that? He has a little drool that comes out of
it. You hear it, man.
Yeah. I'm the guy off of the I don't know if you guys get those the little Caesar commercials where there's this guy that says smoking meat or whatever.
Yeah.
Smoked-ified. That's me. I'm saying yes. It's succulent meat. It's so
wow.
We have the meat.
So
oh man.
Yes. Okay.
All right. Well, I think we got through everybody in terms of what they did for their Turkey Day or whatnot. But there was because after you fill yourselves up on turkey, especially
you didn't get through me.
No, because you didn't do anything. No, I'm just playing.
Wow.
The world.
Well, Artemis, or should I say Goldblum, man, what did you do after you filled yourself up on some Southern California type Thanksgiving? I don't know if it was like sushi. What did you eat, man? And then what did you do afterwards?
Well, we had turkey, turkey and stuff like that. I'm on a diet, so I can't have like bread and stuff like that. So I couldn't have like any bread.
You can't have bread?
So. Nope.
Smothered in turkey.
Dude, I feel so bad for you right now. Like bread is a staple,
he puts
man.
A whole cube of butter in his coffee.
That's what I do.
Shit.
It's a trade-off, man. It's all good.
But after that, I pretty much just went home and played some Wolfenstein 2, and then I played a little bit of Super Mario Odyssey.
What game was that?
Wolfenstein 2.
Wolfen what?
Wolfenstein.
That's right. It's Wolfenstein, guys.
Wolfenstein,
not Steam. Who says that? Look, if I correct you, you know you're wrong.
Mr. Forza? Are you really talking?
I don't say that anymore. I say Forza. I've evolved.
She had that in her bag. I don't know how long she was waiting to pull that sucker out, man.
Or
Stop it, Snaps.
Like he's
But I like what O Snaps does, because there's this whole like Steen and Stein, like she just says
Wolfenstein.
Yeah, she puts it together. Wolfenstein 2. So like, maybe we can start that up. But guys, like I said, like after Turkey Day, and even on Turkey Day, because a lot of stores opened up at 4 p.m. and stuff. You know, we got to talk about Black Friday, and I want to start with the Xbox Live sale, the Microsoft Store, and I want to know if you guys picked up anything, whatever, like what caught your eye in the store for the Black Friday sale, and if you thought it was a good sale or not. So let's start with the Don here. Don, when it comes to the Xbox Live Black Friday sale, what did you think about what they were offering, and did you pick anything up, man?
Man, I wasn't even allowed to look. My wife's just like, you're not allowed to buy any more damn games. Christmas is coming up. Yeah, she cut me off. So yeah, there's no new games coming to Don's house until Christmas time. So that's kind of where I'm at.
You didn't even get a chance to see it? Like, she would not let you look at it whatsoever?
No. Just sit down, play your Assassin's Creed, and enjoy.
Be happy. Don, I'll let you know they have the BioShock collection, which is all 3 BioShocks remastered, for $19.80 right now.
Yeah, the only way that's going to happen is game gifting or after Christmas for me. Dude, so
that is my gem of the entire sale. And I know it's not like the newest, latest, and greatest like title or anything like that, but those 3 games put together for under $20, that is absolutely amazing.
It's a classic. Like, I heard nothing but good deals, like across the board. Like, gamers are winning. Everything I hear, like, it almost sounds fake to me. Like, that's how many good deals that are going on. So, you know, it just is what it is. So, like, for me, you know, I have plenty of games. I still have games to go through, so don't feel bad for me or anything like that. But man, you know, I wasn't even allowed to look, and you know, it's the time of year where the wife wants to get me some games, so you can't fault her for that, right? So.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think Vertigo in the chat, huge shout out to Vertigo. He's actually he's been going in and playing Destiny 2 with me a lot. We've been having a blast doing the Iron Banner and whatnot. But he said he's pretty much in the same boat you're in, Don. Like, I guess he's not allowed to look at the sales either. So
it was his birthday yesterday, and he's not allowed to.
That must be
his birthday is so close to Christmas, so he's on timeout. But happy birthday again.
Yeah. Oh, yo, snaps! You shouted him out yesterday on your live stream, right?
Yeah, by accident. I was like, "Happy birthday!" Just joking around. Turns out it was really his freaking birthday. That's amazing.
She was like, "I'm a what did you say? I'm a fortune teller, or I'm a psychic?" Yeah. Colorful adjective before psychic. I'm a fucking psychic. Like, So, snaps! What did you think about the Black Friday, like, Xbox Live sale?
Trash.
Straight trash? Nothing good? Nothing
no,
good?
There's lots of good stuff. I'm just kidding. Calm down.
Is there anything you picked up?
Technically, no. But we had decision making together, so he was trying to convince me that I needed the Evil Within 2, and I was like, no, not for that price right now. So we ended up.
You make me sound like such an opportunist. Like, I was trying to.
Okay.
Go ahead.
You know, we're not going to talk about that, but no, there's a lot of good stuff. It was just nothing that really enticed me because right now I'm stuck on Call of Duty. But probably the top thing that I saw was the Fractured Butthole, and I wanted that more than probably anything else. I still haven't played it yet.
Wait, that actually came with the first one too, as well.
Yes, it did, because I was never able to play the free trial that they supposedly had either. So we got that. That's the only thing we really picked up during that sale. I mean, we picked up. I say that because it was my gamer tag, but you picked up something too. Well, is this just Black Friday Xbox sale that we're talking about, or just in general?
Huh?
Is this just the Xbox sale?
Yeah, just the Xbox sale, and then we're gonna go into broader kind of like Black Friday, everything that was going on. You know, freaking 4K televisions for like less than $200 or just over $200 with HDR. There was a lot of stuff going on for Black Friday, just all over the place. But yeah, first it's Xbox Live. It's I put it first because it's like the easiest to get. You know, for Xbox gamers out there, you just go to the store and there's discounts all over the place.
You know what I did see though? There was some stupid Back to the Future game, right? That was on there for $5, and then it went on the Games with Gold for this month. So I'm like, what other games that went free for the month did people just buy because they were on sale? That's a little shady. Just saying.
That is kind of shady. You know, great to point that. I knew I was like when I saw the Back to the Future thing on the Games with Gold, I was like,
what is that? He was like,
I saw that recently. I'm thinking to myself, like, I saw that recently. Yeah.
I don't know. Just before you buy a game, see if it's on Game Pass or if it's part of the Games with Gold song list.
Oh shit!
What happened?
Blaze just bought me the BioShock collection.
What?
Blades is a darling. Ding, ding, ding.
Congratulations, man. That's awesome.
That is very awesome.
That guy's a champ.
Now, anybody that wants to give me Destiny 2, you know what I'm saying? I'm with it.
Oh, man.
Every time K-Mega asks for a game, you know I get one. Like, that's
I know. Like, why is it that I
get on that list? Shit.
Mooch get whatever he wants. Don, every time that I say something, or like if me and Don has a debate about a game or whatever, like Tekken.
Maybe hold on. Let's switch it.
Going on here?
Yo, Mega, let's switch it up now, all right? Because I really want you to have Destiny 2. I would love to go in and help you grind out like your characters, get their levels up. I love playing the game, right? So since every time you say something, Don gets the game, why don't we let Don say he wants Destiny 2, and maybe then you'll get the code.
No, I'll make you a deal to here, K-Mega. If I get 3 games from you complaining about something, the next 3 games, I will buy you Destiny.
Okay.
I just saved on myself money on 3 games. I'll buy you Destiny.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Nice. As soon as you get Destiny, Mega, I am down. Just to let you know, man.
I'll play it. I'll play it. I'll play it.
Awesome.
We're gonna count this one, the one that Blaze just did. So you got 2 more to go.
What?
You already got like 2 more before.
He's low key petition.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Look, if you want me to play Destiny with you guys, man, hook me up, man. You know what I'm saying? Look, hook me up, for real.
Guys in the chat, everybody who's hooked up with us on Twitter and everything like that, please send out the word. I really want Mega to get in on Destiny 2. We got to do something for him as a community, man.
Y'all think I made money? I'm not made no money. Jesus.
Guys, if you hear about his stories, like traveling in like the back roads of Oklahoma and whatnot, like we need to get him Destiny 2. Anyway.
I need to be in outer space on some of the places that they send me on work, man.
Exactly, homie. Exactly.
Now, I don't even think Pred in his military would want to go to some of the places that I go to sometimes, man.
It is funny with this game gifting, man. If you noticed on social media, like Facebook, Twitter, and everything like that, people are always like, "Oh yeah, by the way, my gamer tag is." If you want to test out game gifting, see if it works, you could just send it to this gamer tag right here. There's been a lot of that going on, man.
Yeah, no, it's an awesome feature. It's fantastic, man. I mean, you can't say enough.
Yeah, definitely.
You can't say enough about it.
Well, Pred, man, I want to see if you checked out the Black Friday sales on Xbox Live. Anything that kind of stuck out to you, and did you purchase anything from this sale?
I did actually. I picked up.
Say Destiny 2. Say Destiny 2. Oh no, you already had it.
I already have Destiny 2. That's the problem with these sales. Like I usually have most of the games, but I picked up. Evil Within 2, and I picked up Wolfenstein. So I've barely touched both of those games, and this is a problem I have with these sales. Like games that I wasn't going to buy, Wolfenstein or Evil Within 2, but because they were only $30, I went ahead and got them. And I did this last year with Dead Rising. I picked it up and I still have not played that game.
Really?
I bought it when it was on sale because I was like, oh, it's on sale. I'll pick it up. It's a little cheaper. And I could have just waited and got it for like $10 later. And the good thing Microsoft did, like they gave me $5 earlier in the month. Mm-hmm. And then they gave me an additional $10 on top of that. So
damn.
Basically, I don't know if everybody got that. I know a lot of people got the $5.
I know Snaps did.
I don't know if everybody got that additional 10, but like
not everybody. A few people. Maybe if you haven't purchased there in a while.
I didn't get any. I didn't get.
You didn't even look.
I didn't get
any. He doesn't even know how to use email. I don't like.
So I mean, so that's $15 right there, and then I use Bing at work a lot for searches, so I get a lot of Bing rewards, and I cash those in for points as well. So I had about 30 bucks worth of points. I didn't even use them, so I still have those sitting in the stash. I got those actually after the fact after I bought the other 2 games. So I still have 30 bucks sitting in there, and I'm still trying to debate on what I want to buy. So
let's see, $30 you can buy a bunch of silver for Destiny 2 and get like get the bright engrams, man.
Oh, I use those microtransactions.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I typically hang on to those and just use those for live points or something like that for my kids or something. But yeah, I picked up those 2 games, and I'm actually looking on the other realm right now at games I don't have on PlayStation that I may pick up.
Dude, that's what I haven't checked the PlayStation sales. So if there's anything on there that you want to kind of,
it was nothing amazing.
It wasn't. I haven't seen anything so far. So
I think the prices for like multi-plat were a little bit more expensive, if not the same too. So there was nothing that really stuck out.
I was just looking for, because I basically use my PlayStation for single player games, and if there's nothing on sale over there, then I'm not picking
I'm
up.
using my PlayStation right now for a figurine holder. That's what I'm using.
Dude, my shit is sitting upstairs in my stepson's room, and I initially bought it for him, and when he's not here, I'd use it down here, and I have not bought anything. It's a paperweight right now for me.
Man, I got a PlayStation 4 Pro. I forgot to bring this up. So I got a Pro, right? And it is so loud I can't play it at night. It wakes up my wife, so I actually have to wait until she's not home. So I have got it. I just can't play it until she's out of the house.
I haven't even used my Switch, to be honest with you. I got Mario, and I played about maybe a third of that, and I haven't even used that. So I think after I got the X, man, I was like, why the fuck would I need to use anything else at this point?
Can I add something real quick?
Yeah, definitely.
So I just want to, because Damien in the chat, he said I didn't get no money from Xbox, WTF. It was a Microsoft store that sent the email, I guess, if you were like, you purchased on there in the past. Because I haven't shopped at Microsoft Store in a while. Online, I did a couple times. I buy gift cards, but pretty much that's it. But we did purchase a lot there in the past, usually around tax time. Because I haven't purchased there in a while, and my email's registered to them. They send me a $10 gift card. It says, "Hey, we miss you," blah blah blah. So, and then we got another $5 for, I forget what it's for, but I did post about it on Twitter, a while, maybe. It's from Microsoft, so it was like a week ago, roughly. But a lot of people got $5 in their Xbox account online. That's for if you were a Game Pass and you did like the little, what the hell is it called? It's not it's like a little quest or something. If you did the quest where if you played so many hours of certain type of games, then you get rewarded for that. And a lot of people got $5 for playing a certain amount of games for a certain amount of time, things like that. But yeah, continue.
I do have to say, when it comes to games I've played lately, on that note, because you're like a certain games for a certain amount of time, if they ever do anything for Destiny 2, I already have over 17 days in game on Destiny 2, so I'll definitely be getting something if they do something there. But otherwise, no, I don't think they've given me anything. But on that note, well, Osaf, so what did you think about the deals on Xbox Live for Black Friday? Do you think there was a bunch of good stuff to be had? Do you think it was a good deal? It was good for the gamers?
What, are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh, what? What was the question?
What did you think about the deals overall that they were offering on Xbox Live for Black Friday? Do you think they were good deals? Do you think there was a lot of stuff, good variation, stuff for everybody?
It wasn't bad. I mean, I didn't look at everything either, but there was a lot of stuff that I didn't have. There was a few things that I saw that I wanted. Overall, it wasn't bad, but I mean, the newer games like Call of Duty was on sale also. It's hard for us to see games that are on sale too because we already own them, so it'll be like own or install or something.
Say owned.
Yeah, so I can't really see the prices, but I mean, overall, it wasn't bad. I mean, it could have been a little bit better, but it wasn't bad.
I got to say, and we're gonna get to Optimus because this podcast is not really hitting until Optimus talks a few more times. But I do have to say, I was surprised at the amount of new titles this year in terms of their Black Friday sale. They've always, in my opinion, ever since like 2013, I thought they've always done a really good job with their digital sale for Black Friday. It's just that this year, man, it was like all the Evil Within 2, Call of Duty is usually on sale, but there was just like all the new IPs, and they were like $30, $40 or whatnot, $20 or $30 off. It was that kind of made me step back. I was like, wow, they're really making sure they have the deal out of like all like between them, Sony and Nintendo or whatnot. So I thought they did a really good job. And like I said, my gem was actually that older title. It was the 3 games, the BioShock collection for under $20. I mean, you cannot go wrong with that. To me, that story will live for years. It's one of those rare cases where that franchise, like, man, you can go back like 5 years later, still play that game, still have fun, still get immersed, and it's an absolute classic. But Dark Optimus, man, what did you think about the Xbox Live sale? I know you usually buy everything when it comes out, but did you get anything with this Black Friday sale, man?
I did actually. I got Wolfenstein 2, which was $30.
Wolfenstein.
Yo, and then by the way, Pred, you are gaining points
never gonna
every
say
time
like
you
that.
say that with those snaps. I just want to let you know that, man.
Never gonna say it like that. Sorry, guys.
Well, you know what? We're gonna mute you.
That's fine. But
we're good.
I also picked up Life is Strange Before the Storm because that was like only like $17, so it was like the deluxe edition, which was pretty cheap actually. But I thought overall for the sale, dude, it was pretty good actually because Wolfenstein 2 and then Evil Within 2 was $30, and those games practically just came out. So I mean, that's a steal right there, $30 for those 2 games. And unfortunately, I already played Evil Within 2, so I didn't pick it up. But I mean, if you haven't picked it up yet, I mean, I would have picked it up already. And Wolfenstein 2 because it looks amazing on the X. It's full 4K resolution and 60 frames per second. So I mean, you're getting the best of both worlds on that game. But yeah, I mean, overall the sale was phenomenal this year. I think it was way better than PlayStation sale. I looked at PlayStation sale. I didn't really like anything on there. There wasn't really anything that I was like too interested in.
You know, I kind of wonder if PlayStation's going to step up their online sale between now and the big holiday. Like
maybe,
you know, because that has been a common criticism. People that own both boxes, they're like, okay, well, I'm just going to buy them here instead of over there. And you know, they got to compete in that space, right? The money's in the games. It's not in the hardware. We all know that. So, you know, they got to compete in that space. So, you know, I think it's good when we have this sort of competition because I hope they bring it. And the PlayStation gamers get the benefit from it. So,
yeah, nice. I mean, that's one thing I think everybody on this panel, and a lot of the YouTubers that I know, people in the chat listen to, and a lot of our friends and stuff. You know, we get accused of being like so one-sided and everything like that, and it's like we never ask for another company like Sony to like go bankrupt or anything like that. We actually ask for the competition to be strong because, you know, whether it's like, say if only Microsoft and Xbox was left in the console space, like to have only one company there, they can do whatever the hell they want and still make their money. There's no competition. There's no. That's what like gets these companies to do more for us and to give us better deals, to give us better games, to push innovation, all that good stuff. And so like we champion competition, fair competition within the console gaming space, and I feel that sometimes people don't realize that's exactly what we're trying to talk about here, you know. But on that case, in that whole thing, we do talk about the rest of Black Friday, which I am kind of surprised about. I was looking at my boy Tim Dog from BGST. Shout out to Tim Dog. I was looking at his Twitter, and he was putting up lists of Xbox stuff that we're selling on Amazon, and like straight from like early 50s all the way through 60 something, it was all like Xbox stuff. It was Xbox One X, One S, Xbox games, Xbox headsets. It looks like, you know, everything is selling really well on Xbox's side. Now, the PS4 Slim, I think, was ranked higher, and I'm not sure about where the Pro was in accordance to Amazon. But I think the big thing here is one thing I was surprised about was the Xbox One S and how well that is selling as well. So, Mega,
Did you
what do you
see
think?
The price of that?
It was like less than $200, right?
Yeah, it was $199. Yeah,
$199, and there was probably games involved, right?
I don't know if there was any games involved, but it was a $199 PlayStation Slim, which was a big bargain, you know, for people out there that still didn't have a PlayStation 4. So, you know, you got to give them props for dropping the price that much.
Am I the only one that's picky to the point where when it comes to the Slim, the reason why I like having kind of like the launch PS4 is because it has that optical out, because I have a sound bar.
I don't think you're alone. I just, people that are in the know prefer that. The people that are not in the know don't think anything twice about it, right? So
yeah, well, I like plugging my soundbar directly into the console that I'm playing. So I will switch the optical, you know, from the Xbox to the PS4 when I you know, go and play games on my PS4 and stuff like that. And I like having that option. And I think that's the reason probably why I'll never have a PS4 Slim. I am completely happy with the PS4 I have.
Well, what's crazy about it is you really think about it is like all modern day televisions, the sound sucks. I mean, we all know it, right? Because the television's so flat.
Yeah, the visuals get better, but the speakers get worse. That's weird.
Yeah, because people don't take it seriously. So what do? They invest into, you know, a decent soundbar to something mediocre, right?
Mm-hmm.
The most common connection for those is basically an optical, and you know it makes honestly a crappy speaker sound way better than it should, right? For the money. So I mean, yeah, I'm a big fan and component. I wouldn't buy a Slim personally. Well, I didn't, but you know, Pro would be the only solution for me, to be honest with you. So
all right, now let's talk about the Xbox One X when it comes to Black Friday, and basically when it comes to, because it was you know, released early this month, November 7th, and then of course we have Black Friday, which is later on in the month, and stuff like that. Me personally, I think it turned out to be a really good move for Xbox to release early November. And then have Black Friday, you know, in the same month. Because if you listen to like Crap Gamer's videos, and you might love Crap Gamer, you might hate Crap Gamer. One thing I can say about Crap is he is very knowledgeable when it comes to the gaming industry and video games in general. Now he is basically saying that unless something really crazy happens, he is declaring that Xbox is going to be kind of like the #1 hardware on the MPDs for the month of November. And I actually kind of believe him, just for the fact of how the release was at the beginning of the month, and then you had Black Friday going towards the end of the month. It's like two kind of like infusions of a big chunk of sales. So I want to know what you guys think about that. So, you know, Don, you were talking first. So what do you think about that idea that, you know, I know hardware sales don't mean a lot to me. You know what I'm saying? I see that the console space is healthy, it's growing, it's selling, all that good stuff. But it is a little intriguing that the way they released this, because a lot of people thought that they should release the Xbox One X earlier than November 7th. So do you think this was actually a good move on Xbox's part?
Well, I think there's more to it than that, right? It's about supply.
Gamer. I knew I was going to get that, man.
But it's all about supply, right? You know, like, you know, saying, hey, I'm going to deliver at the beginning of the month, and all you have is the initial launch units. That's a fail. You lose all your momentum, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it was, you know, if they could have released it earlier and provided supply, I think they would have. But I think in this particular situation is just the timing worked out that's when they would actually have supply. Because, you know, I went to some stores today.
I think it was a little more strategic than that, man, to be very honest with you. But go ahead.
It comes down to it. Like, it doesn't matter. If you don't have supply, you're not going to sell shit, right? You lose momentum. So it's all about having that consistent supply. Like, I went to stores, and there was X's, there was S's, there's PS4 Pros and Slims. But the difference was you can see, like, they were selling through a bunch on the Microsoft side. And where the other ones, the cabinets were completely full on the competing platform, right? But they still had supply. And this is the day after Black Friday, right? So that's the crucial thing, is be able to continue to supply, because that's what's going to give you the big numbers. That's what people get all hyped about when they talk about big numbers where they probably shouldn't.
Yeah,
get hyped about it, and that's what's going to carry momentum. So, you know, they always go aggressively in November. period with the sales and stuff like that, and I think that kind of reflects what we're seeing with how much you can get an S for, under $200. I mean, that's ridiculous. Something that can play 4K UHD Blu-rays, right?
Upscale your games to 4K as well.
Under $200, upscales your games, right? You can get HDR support on games that do have HDR support. Like,
that's a hell of a piece of hardware right there if you think about it.
For $200, that's insane, right? So, I mean, like it. There's many things that lined up, but I don't think it's just like this grand conspiracy that November is the date that we got to do. It's more of, hey, let's hit the beginning of the month and let's make sure we have supply whenever we release. In regards, I think honestly, if you released a month earlier, we would have got our supply units and nothing else for about three weeks, right? And I don't think that would have helped. I don't, the whole kind of like false supply demand thing, like that never works. That's not how companies work. They want to be able to sell you stuff, and so if they can get it out there, they'll get it out there. So
that's interesting, man, and it's one of the reasons I love talking to you about this stuff, because you bring things to the surface that I didn't even think about. Because while you were talking and proving your points and stuff, I was also thinking about kind of like the enhancement updates for games and when they would have been ready in comparison to releasing the system and stuff like that.
That's a big part of it too, right? So how many times do you click on any podcaster's channel that talks a little bit about Xbox, right? If you dress up anything about Xbox, it's another game that's getting support. That's what's crazy. It's just another game that's getting support, another game that's getting support. So what it does is it makes the console relevant constantly versus it's a different that's a form of guerrilla advertisement right there. People don't realize that, right? So they're going to do well, and I'm glad Xbox has got a little bit of a bounce back. I don't know if they're going to keep the momentum or not going into next year, but it's a good start. It's going in the right direction for sure. Nice.
Now, Predator, man, I got to ask you, first of all, what you think about, in terms of the timing of the release of the X in accordance with like Black Friday, because I feel like it's really helping the console sell well in terms of the Xbox One X. I'm surprised at how well the S is doing as well. But like Don said, the hardware, I mean, that is an incredible value. I want to ask you what you think about that in terms of the release and everything. But I also want to ask you because, there has been such crazy deals with 4K televisions, like $230 at Best Buy for, I think it was like a 50-inch with it's 4K with HDR.
180.
180.
180 something.
Damn.
Crazy.
Yeah, so like there's definitely a push for 4K to be the norm. It's something we've been talking about for a while, but do you think that's also kind of feeds into like the Xbox One X sales at the moment as well?
I think it helps out a little bit. I'm with the Don on this one. Like, I know the supply, had they released it earlier, the supply probably would have ran out. But I'll back up a little bit because I look at everything in a big bubble. I think Microsoft's initial issue was the fact that they couldn't get that Wi-Fi card approved by the FCC first. And that might have pushed their date up a little bit sooner than the November 7th timeline. They might have been able to release it a lot sooner, like maybe in August or September timeframe.
You say that, but the part of the Redstone update was a big part.
Yeah, and I was getting that too.
So
I was getting that too. And that's all they're planning and timing. That's not, if they really want this to come out sooner, then they would have pushed those other issues a little bit, to get them out a little bit faster. So, but it came out at a decent time. I would have liked to have seen it come out maybe a month or so earlier than that, just to get it, in the stores and get people talking about it. Because if you look at everything in a big bubble, if they'd have released this maybe a month earlier, they'd have gotten all these, reviews and all these videos from Digital Foundry, which I know a lot of people don't look at it this way, but that's a form of marketing for Microsoft.
It definitely is, man. Definitely.
It is, because they're sponsoring some of these videos as well. So
when you say it's a form of guerrilla marketing,
no.
I would, because I would say that they went to Digital Foundry in the very beginning and kind of said, hey, look at this. Let me show you this, because you guys have been the forefront runners of visuals and, grading visuals over the past, during this generation. So they wanted to get them on their side to some degree. And had they been able to do things the way I think it would have worked out and panned out the way they wanted it to, with the exception of the Redstone maybe coming out later than they really wanted it to, the FCC thing happening a little bit later than they wanted it to. If this console would have came out in August, September timeframe, with everything intact, with the FCC licensing, with the Redstone done, they would have gotten all those games out earlier. You know, all the Assassin's Creeds, the Titanfall 2s, all the games that came out between September and now, they would have had that already out, and this console would have been out with it with the better visuals, and they could have had those tests done earlier. However, it didn't happen that way. So with what they came out with when they did, I think they're doing pretty well. With the S dropping in price to like really like what, 170-ish, somewhere in that time.
Like, the S, I've seen 179 with like a couple games with it and stuff like that. Like, it's been crazy, man.
And you know, Microsoft has come out and said they're not expecting the X to be the main console anyway.
I think they really believe that. Sometimes that's marketing speak and stuff like that, but I really feel like they feel, because of the upscale 4K, the UHD, the HDR, all bundled in the S for that price point, I really feel like they feel like that is the backbone of Xbox, man.
And I've said this before. I can see them transitioning to making that their main console later.
Yeah.
Right now, because they still have the S on the market at a lower price, they'll work through that stock first. Mm-hmm. And maybe next Christmas we'll start seeing them like pull back off making that the main console, the production line console, and kind of once the X drops in price, you know, I can see them kind of transitioning to making the X the main console, but that's further down the road. But as for now, I think what they did, for even with it being early in November with the Black Friday stuff, I think they still will do pretty well in sales. I don't know, like MPD wise, who's gonna win this out, because I expected the S to win out last year and it didn't. But you know, when you look at the bell curve of the PlayStation, I think everyone who wants a PlayStation has one.
Good point. So, great point, man.
So well, I'm going to add to that. So last year, it was a perfect example is they ran out of S's. Like, the stores didn't have any, right? So you always saw those empty spots where there was no Xbox.
Yeah.
So, you know, supply was an issue last year for sure.
Yeah. But I think it'll be tight this year. I think if you look at the overall sales of Xbox consoles, they'll win out. If you're trying to pinpoint one specific console over the others, I would expect the S to do better than the X. And maybe the PlayStation will make it.
At least by volume.
Yeah, volume wise, yeah. Just in the United States, I can see the PlayStation, you know, maybe making a run for it just because of the bundles they're going to have with, you know, with the games they have included in it. With, you know, the marketing they've done has been phenomenal for them this generation. So people are going to kind of flock to that, because some people just don't know that some of the games that are coming out that are multi-plats are actually multi-plats. You know, so like,
yeah, well, the marketing, especially on Sony's side, man, like they put so much money into that marketing that a lot of people. I still talk to people that are like, "Oh, the Battlefront 2 that came out for Xbox as well." I'm like, "Yeah."
You'd be surprised at how many people don't know what games are on each console, who just aren't in the know. Especially like, you know, like I remember when I was a kid. This is like I'm gonna go off on a tangent for a second. So when I was a kid, I wanted a Nintendo, right? I wanted the NES. My mom bought me a Sega Master System because she didn't fucking know any better.
It sounds like you still got some salt for that.
Yeah, and I enjoyed my Sega Master System, but I sent the wrong person to the store to pick up an item for myself that didn't need to be in the store shopping. So parents do that stupid shit. Like, if they're not in gamers like that, they don't really know. They just go pick up whatever the fuck they want, and they assume that that's because some assholes in the store are selling this shit to them. You know, oh, get this instead. It's cheaper. You know, all the kids have it. His friends probably has one. So, you know, when the parents don't know, they listen to the person that's selling them something. And, you know, if you listen to some of the people that sell items, sometimes you might end up getting something you don't really want, or that the kids don't want. And it's happened. I've seen it happen with myself. I've seen it happen with some friends of mine who are older parents that buy for their kids that the kids don't want in the fucking first place. Because they go in a store, and someone's job is to sell them a specific item, whether it's a Galaxy or an Apple phone or an Xbox or a PlayStation, and they pick up the wrong fucking console or the wrong item for the kid because someone was sold that to them in the store. So it can happen. But I can see it being a close, maybe closer than what I think we're expecting, with an Xbox One S actually outselling the PlayStation 4 this holiday.
Yeah, and
it's gonna be tight though.
I gotta say, with the S, man, and I absolutely enjoyed like hearing your opinion on that. With the S, like a lot of people kind of started talking about doom and gloom, before the release of the X, because the S started selling like kind of like so little. And it was just a lot of people, and I really feel this was the case. A lot of people were waiting to see what was going on with the X. A lot of people were actually interested with the X as well. But then all of a sudden you see all these sales coming down when it came to the S. And man, I seen a lot of people on Amazon, GameStop, Target, Walmart, all the big places, all the big hitters, man. Like people were hitting that Xbox One S like crazy, man.
You got to think they have the S bundles, they have the Xbox One X, and they got the Minecraft bundle, which I think is going to sell phenomenal this holiday too. So, that custom console. So, even though it's been out for a while, I think a lot of people waiting on that to drop in price to pick it up for their kids. But I don't know, man. I think it's gonna be a tight one this year. Xbox might eke it out overall, but as far as each individual console, I think that's gonna be the tighter race.
Nice. Let's move on to Oh Snaps. I want to catch her out eating her coconut custard pie and her apple donut real quick.
It's amazing.
Oh Snaps. When it comes to Xbox One X or the sales of Xbox in general, it seems like it's doing really, really well on Black Friday. I myself am a little surprised on kind of like the numbers of the S and everything like that. But what do you think about like how well the Xbox is doing through this holiday? And do you think it has anything to do with kind of like, it's almost like a forced adoption of 4K? Because like you said, a TV under $200 for a 4K television, it's just the industry is really pushing the consumer into 4K as the norm. Do you think that's a big part of why people are like going and getting the Xbox One X and the 4K?
You said a whole lot of stuff, and then I just need to point out when we're on Coffee Casuals and Consoles, when I give like a 2 or 3 part question, want to point that out and say you expect them to answer all of that.
All right, K-Mega. No,
all right. Well, here's what I'm gonna say. All right, Xbox is selling phenomenally right now. Mm-hmm. 4K TVs, it's the next big thing anyways. So they're going to sell regardless of Xbox One X, or because, they're there, the price is right. I'm sure, it's a hand-in-hand type of thing, but if it really was that, then you would think that Xbox would have a bundled deal. Now, as far as the Xbox One X goes, or Xbox in general, so some of the top items that were sold at Target through Thanksgiving/Black Friday, obviously TVs are high on the list. Pokemon, Nerf guns, but I'm gonna skip everything else. Xbox One,
Nerf guns. Oh man.
Xbox One and Nintendo Switch are on the list of the top items. Now that's Target. Black Friday. Where is this? In general, was PlayStation VR. Xbox One X and Nintendo Switch, amongst other items. Now, the thing is, like, you don't see a lot of PS Pro or anything on this list, but you have to remember that right now the Xbox One X just came out, whereas people have had plenty of opportunity throughout the year to buy a PS4. So that doesn't mean that the PS4 Pro isn't any better. It's a little bit older. People have purchased it, whether it's PS4, PS4 Pro, Slim, doesn't matter. They've had all year to purchase that. So right now, I mean, even though those are on sale, mostly the Slims were on a really good deal. They're still not on the top item list. So that is pretty interesting, but you have to imagine the Xbox One X is, a very new item. So I think that it's dominating Black Friday in a sense because of that. And the deals with the Xbox One S is $10 cheaper than a PS4 Slim. So I think, they're doing well overall, and I don't remember the rest of your question.
No, I think you pretty much covered every base. I mean, my whole thing is, The X is definitely selling well, and I think it's selling a lot better than the haters want to admit right now. There's even haters out there who are now kind of like backing themselves up that 1080p should actually be the end all be all, and they're kind of like refusing 4K to a certain extent just because they
but you know, they have to. They're obviously, some people are a little bit salty, but the reality is we always have to move forward.
Salt
we can't
is real right now.
take steps backward into time. That's absolutely pointless, and that's not going to get us anywhere. You know, and then there's people who are just, they're going to be stuck in their ways, and all you can do is say, hey, you know what, I'm sorry you feel that way, but why even, you know, put any attention on it when, you know, they're just going to be salty assholes at the end of the day.
All right. Beautiful. Let's move to Mega real quick. I want to know, what do you think about these sales, man? As you can see, everything's going well. You know, the Xbox haters out there, they're trying to kind of deny like the sales that have been going on through Black Friday or whatever. But just, you know, share your thoughts on what's going on. Do you think this is the turnaround that, you know, people have been talking about for a while? Do you think this is the momentum that's going to keep going into like next year and beyond?
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, and the $199 PlayStation, it sold like hotcakes. There was no doubt about that. You know, it was a great price. But again, there was what a lot of people are not anticipating is that the Xbox came $10 cheaper with the S at $189. And then you still had the Xbox One Fat for $149. So there was people that told me from work that they went ahead and they got an Xbox. I don't know which one that they got. I don't know if they got the Fat or if they got the S, but it's you know what I'm saying, the lower price enticed them enough to go ahead and get it. And because, you know, I talk about the Xbox, I mean, I talk about the PlayStation as well, because, you know, there's people that there's a couple of guys in my job that they have a PlayStation, and they ask me what kind of game should.
Well, yeah, you gotta let them know what's up with the news and everything as well.
Yeah. No, I don't hate like that. I just tell them that, you know, I just prefer the Xbox. But there was people that bought for their children, and then they bought for themselves. They wanted to get another console, so they went ahead and got the Xbox. And so I'll find out Monday which ones they got. So it's the one thing that I think a lot of gamers is, I hate talking about sales numbers and NPDs. I think it's the stupidest conversation when it comes to gaming, period, because it doesn't really affect us. It only affects what happens, you know, for the people that likes to talk about analytics and shit like that. But if people think that the Xbox S or the X hasn't sold well, then they're dreaming, because just for the mere fact that the Xbox One X, for the price that it was at a one point in time sold out to where they couldn't get one. Especially, I know, because I was trying to get the Scorpio myself after my Amazon debacle, and there was none available. You know what I'm saying? There was when I went to certain stores to look for just an Xbox One X, there were maybe one or two available in all the stores in a 50-mile region. So that it was ridiculous. So so anyway, Xbox will be doing fine. I think it will be close just because of the price point from both consoles. The one thing that was baffling to me was Nintendo. When Nintendo had an opportunity to really kind of take a hold of the market leap, for man. The year. Yeah, for the year, because they were leading in NPDs for months, and not to drop the price of the Switch, not to have true sale price drops for their games.
I only saw one sale, like a price drop for a game for the Switch, and that was Zelda. I think it was
a steelbook case, and I was like, man, I want to get that, but I don't have a Switch yet, and I'll get the Switch later. So it's just like I'll get a Switch probably you know, for the old lady for Christmas.
Yeah, I feel bad for not for anything. I feel bad for your woman, man. You've been telling her you're gonna get it for like how long now?
No, I told her that's when I was gonna get it. I was gonna get it for Christmas. So, yeah, I just gotta make mine. I just gotta keep true to my promise. It's just the thing of it is that
she'll kill you, man. Yeah, she'll hurt you eventually.
She'll cut me to the white meat. It ain't gonna be no fun. So anyway, so it's the thing where I'm basically, I don't care personally, but if you know what I'm saying, you give me a truth serum, I would think that Xbox would come out ahead because of the lower price point of the Xbox One Fat, because there are a lot of people that did not cross over.
You're doing the $149 for the Fat as a big
man. Hey man, look, some people are just looking at it. Some people are just looking at it like, look, I just want to step into the new generation. I just want to buy some games, and I see this console at only 150, while you got a console that's 500, 300, 400. You got 400 for the Pro, or 350 in some cases. There was I think a deal at a couple of stores for the Pro for 350, and then you have a $200, then you have a $189. Now you got a $150 console. There's going to be people that's like, look, man, I'm not caring about graphics or any of the other bullshit. I just want to play newer games. So I think Xbox has done extremely well with all three of their iterations of
the family
Xbox.
of devices is definitely working, basically.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely working, and it's opened up saying a different discussion about, what is it that gamers really want? Is it really about the graphics, or is it really about just having something that's affordable to them?
Mega, you brought up a great question. It was something, because I really want to talk to you about this as well, and move down the panel in terms of what they think about the Xbox sales in terms of Black Friday and everything. But with that being said, like here's the thing. I know the PS4 Pro was out a year sooner, but even if we compare kind of like the sales, because like these are the more powerful iterations of systems, right? We know Nintendo's off doing their own thing with a handheld that they call a console, and people are digging that. I can understand that. But like these two are still, they're doing the traditional consoles. Now you have mid-gen refreshes that add power to the systems. Why do you think, because myself, I don't think Xbox's marketing is all over the place. I don't think they're showing the X everywhere and stuff. Why do you think it is that the X is selling more at its lifespan, at its early lifespan, in comparison to the PS4 Pro at the same time? You see what I'm saying? Like the X is definitely it's selling more at the same point in time as like the PS4 Pro. Why do you think that is, man?
Yeah, well, I think for one is because of what Predator was saying earlier, was because of having a digital foundry. YouTubers, you got a lot of people. Even there was an interview on CSNBC with Phil Spencer talking about the Xbox One X and how Microsoft stocks went up. That's an indication that people are excited about that product. And it's one thing that somebody told me that was absolutely true, was that when you say that a product is premium, and while other people might look at it as like, oh no, that's too much, the majority of people is like, no, I can afford that. That ain't too premium for me, especially when you know that
I like the best things, man.
Yeah,
I'll pay that money.
That product is substantially affordable compared to what you would if you would go into the PC space. And that right there got a lot of people excited about the X. I mean, that's just the honest to goodness truth. So it's a thing of like just telling people that, well, no, you're just too poor to get it, so don't worry about it. Just go get the lesser product. And then people are like, well, no, I got the money. You just playing games. And then it's also to the fact that it's all over the place, and it's the new hype. It's the new thing that it's the when you hear the most powerful console, that's going to get a lot of people's attention.
Oh yeah, and the thing is, a lot of times you say the most powerful console, people could come back and say, well, no, and this and that. But with the X, it seems like the X has kind of leaped over kind of like that hurdle. And even there's PlayStation people I talk to like locally, right? And like they even admit, like, yeah, the X is the most powerful thing out there, and that's definitely going to get people to gravitate towards it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could definitely see that.
Yeah, it's one of them things where it's just kind of like with televisions, with cars, with any type of product. I mean, when people try to give that notion of where it's when you put a premium on it, when you put a premium label on it, people are like, oh, really? And then that that starts the process of like where people are like, well, if this is the best of the best, I want the best. I don't want the half step. And it's the same thing. Let
me put it this way, K-Mega. So there is something called like basically perceived value, right? Let's say Xbox, even the box costs what it costs, right?
Right.
But let's say Xbox decided to really go for the throat and say, hey, we're gonna take a major loss and sell it at $300, right? You know, the perceived value.
People would question that price, actually.
Exactly.
They would question the hardware.
Yeah, there's a perceived value there, right? And there's a sweet spot they had to hit where they weren't going into a territory where it's a no zone, right, which is above 500. And they have something more powerful than what their competition is by a substantial amount, right? Mm-hmm. So they have the feature sets to justify the price as well. So, you know, it's that sweet spot of perceived value, because if you do $300 on that unit, you know, there are people who say, oh, they would dominate. Yeah, but it may raise a lot more questions, and people may even clown on it, you know, versus the demand being there for. You
gotta love when Don says clown on it. That means he's been hanging around with me and Mega a lot. I'm just saying, man.
Yeah. So I mean that's just kind of my take on it. I mean, I hate to cut off you know, K-Mega, but well, actually I don't. But
yeah, you don't.
Anyways, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I think we work good off each other. And on that note, I do want to get Dark in on this conversation, man. I want to hear what he thinks about the sales when it comes to the Xbox One, the S, the X, everything. And Dark, do you think it's relative to the push on 4K? I mean, because I wasn't even thinking about getting a 4K television, and then I saw that deal, and when it came to getting that 50-inch for under $200, like 4K TV, I was like, damn, man, they're really trying to get this in everybody's home. I just want to see what you think about the sales of the Xbox, and then what do you think if it is relative to that kind of like 4K push that's going on right now?
Well, the sales for the S is really good. You know, like the $199 I think I saw for at Best Buy a couple times for the Madden bundle, I think it was. I don't think they had the Assassin's Creed bundle at that price, but they had a Madden, so you actually get a game with it. And I know with the Slim of the PlayStation, they didn't actually give you a game with it, so you only got it for you don't really get a game.
You see that in the chat, right? Brian Baker just went in on you, man.
No, I didn't see the chat.
He said Dark's talking, bathroom break time.
Oh,
damn!
That's
that switch, dude.
That's
that's your number one fan right there. I want to let you know that.
Oh, I know. But you know, as for like, you know, like you guys were saying, the X, if people were expecting that to be on sale, that's probably something that you shouldn't ever expect when a new console comes out. Mm-hmm. But I think, you know, I was actually kind of like with K-Mega, I was kind of surprised about Nintendo not actually coming out with their sales.
I'm sorry, Dark. Are you really surprised? Nintendo does not drop their prices.
I know, but like I thought maybe
PlayStation didn't do it with the Pro.
They would do something.
They want to get the Pro though.
At least their games, like their games. I mean, come on, like Zelda has been out since the launch of the console. Like at least put that on sale.
Facts.
You know, I mean, I know they had that Steelbook one for the same price as the regular edition, but I mean, come on, put it at like $30, you know, and people would have flocked to it, and you wouldn't have seen it.
Nintendo
on the
says,
shelf.
"No, we will not do it."
I actually went to Best Buy on Black Friday, and I saw a ton of Switches there. I saw a ton of PlayStations. You know how many Xboxes I saw?
3.
I went there too.
There was like hardly any. They were almost gone. Like literally almost gone. There was like maybe 2 or 3 left. It was crazy.
They ransacked that.
But they're in the back. They're in the back.
They're in the back, yeah.
Everybody's gonna say they're in the back.
Hey, Abacab,
on them pallets.
Abacab, when it comes to Target dropping their price for Cyber Monday or anything, if you have anything, dude, just DM me on Twitter. I believe we follow each other, so if you could just DM me on Twitter the information, I'll be glad to look it over and, you know, definitely shout you out when I put it out there for everybody else as well.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Sometimes.
No.
All right, I'm just checking, making sure my mic is working because it was doing stupid shit.
Oh, okay, I was like, because if you tried talking, like we didn't hear you try to talk to where we talked over you, so I don't want to be in trouble.
So I went to Black Friday too, and the place was a wreck, and it was like nobody knew what to do with anything. And I went on the nighttime because I got my really awesome controller for $39.99.
I am so jelly. I am jelly of that thing.
Which controller did you get?
The green and gray one. It's nice. I like it, but for $40 you can't go wrong. But the Xbox section of the store looked like it got ransacked, like it was the end of the world type of ransacking. And the PlayStation aisle was actually pretty neat and decently stocked. And I'm not just being a jerk about it. I should have took a video so everybody could see. But that one was fairly neat, and there was a whole lot of people on the Xbox aisle. I'm just saying.
Well, I think a lot of that has to do with what I think Pred said earlier, is that a lot of people already have a PlayStation 4, and they're already at that point of like, hey, maybe we can try out the Xbox or the Switch or whatever, and I think that's a good thing for us as gamers, getting the casuals into Xbox as well.
Dark, for a long time I've thought about that whole thing, that whole premise of there's so many units out there of such a thing that eventually, its rival is going to catch up to it but here's something else that I also think of, and I know this is software sales, so it might be a little different here. Every time I see Grand Theft Auto 5 in the top 3 of games sold, I'm like, what are people?
Who does not have this game?
Yeah, are people buying like 4 copies?
Someone just bought one today for Xbox 360 when we went to GameStop, and I'm just like, all right.
I have a theory about Grand Theft Auto. I think it's money laundering. I think there's some sort of money laundering thing going on with that game. That's the only thing that makes sense why that game.
It is Grand Theft Auto. So.
Look, I think that there will be even more Grand Theft Autos being sold because there are still people that were on the PlayStation. Well, not so many people that was on the PlayStation 3 because they jumped ship to the PlayStation 4 so early. Right. It's the Xbox 360 fans that finally are starting to jump over to the Xbox because of whatever the reasons that there were. If they weren't, saying that they weren't attracted to the Xbox One because of the way the console looked, or because of just the rumors that they've heard, or whatever the case may be. But now it's at the point to where like, and then when they know that Grand Theft Auto is bigger and better, and it's not like one of those games that you can port over. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm going to buy it again because I want to see it with better graphics. So I think that this game's got new life. That's what's really.
God forgive they give it a 4K fucking Xbox enhancement.
Dude, I gotta research what the number of sales are between like last gen and this gen and stuff like that, because you gotta remember Grand Theft Auto 5 actually came out last generation towards the end. But dude, like there's been so much in sales. Like everybody should have it by now. I think people should have it for Xbox One who don't even have an Xbox One yet. That's what the numbers are adding up to me. I have no idea. That thing is such a phenomenon, man.
Yeah, it is. It's one of those games to where, and that's hopefully we'll get into that topic.
Well, it was going to actually be a segue into something that you brought up last week that I really want to talk about this week, because you have this one game that's selling incredibly. The franchise is growing in strength and numbers like every iteration, but you want to talk about a franchise that might be pretty much on its last leg, right, man?
Yeah. Well, it's Need for Speed, and it's. Look, I'm looking on the best sellers list right now because I'm over here looking at it, and I can't help myself, man. I went ahead and bought Just Cause 3 because it was like $6, man. I know I went over my budget.
This is gamer's guilt right now, man.
It's gamer's guilt, but you know what I'm saying? Look, I was just like, man, but anyway, so Just Cause was like I think $10. So I was like, okay, let me just get it. But anyway,
didn't you just say $6?
$10.
He had a tax on that.
I know.
And I'm always going to play this game, so I was like, okay, let me just go ahead and get it and sneak off, and then just get it and win. But anyway, the thing of it was that Need for Speed, this Need for Speed, I was touting it. I was excited. I had it pre-ordered, and and thank goodness for EA access. I went ahead and I've been playing the trial, and I played the game. And maybe the problem is because I've been like no-lifing Forza 7 for so long for the last month.
You did go in on that, man.
Yeah, man, and it took Shadows of War and the Star Wars to break me off from it. But I played Need for Speed, and I was like, I was really hyped when I seen the EA access. The EA press conference, and when they showed Payback, and I was like, oh my God, Need for Speed is actually back. I'm excited. Let's go. And I played the game, and I'm like,
what the hell did you do to this? Yeah.
And
it looks pretty. It
looks pretty. And in the story mode, I haven't gave enough time on the story mode, so I'm not going to knock it. But so far, for what I've played, and I played about maybe three hours of it, I am thoroughly disappointed. So I think, you know what I'm saying, as me being a long life Need for Speed fan, since I've been playing games, I just want to ask the panel, and I'll start with you, Pred. What do you think about the Need for Speed franchise? Is it dead now after this? Or is there still life? What can they do to fix this? Where are we at?
Don't get sentimental, man. Just bring the common sense.
Just be realistic with this.
I'll say this: like, wasn't Need for Speed one of the games that developer came out and was like saying EA kind of fucked them over? Was that Need for Speed? Was that?
Yeah, you are correct. That was
that was Codemasters with
No, it wasn't Codemasters. It was. There's two Need for Speeds. They were going to do something similar. Where
Shift. It was the Shift. They took the Project Cars dev was saying that EA stole what their vision was, and then they put it on Shift.
Okay.
And the game bombed still because that wasn't Need for Speed. People knew Need for Speed from Most Wanted, from Hot Pursuit, etc. And then they tried to go with this more serious tone, but still keep it arcadey, and it just failed miserably. So that's why you got Project Cars.
I'm working on a video right now that I'm probably putting out in the next couple of weeks. I'm kind of getting some thoughts together. But like, EA is my worst developer of the year. They won that award for me. And I have a franchise. It wasn't Need for Speed, but it was EA based. That was, least likely we'll never see again, and that was a Mass Effect. But now listening to this, I think Need for Speed might actually win that, because if they've kind of gutted out and kind of fucked over the devs that were using the assets for other stuff, I just don't see Need for Speed like competing with Project Cars now, which is overtaking that Need for Speed franchise, or Forza, or even Gran Turismo, if fucking Sony gets their shit together and starts making that game the way it's supposed to be made. So
the next one is coming 7 years from now, so you'll have to see then.
So, but as far as racers go, in the genre of racers, it's going to be Forza, it's going to be Project Cars, it's going to be Need for Speed in that order. And if you want to go to the PC space, I know the Assetto Corsa is a really highly touted game on the PC side as well. So I don't know. I'm not gonna say it's dead. I think they'll give it another go. If it doesn't do the numbers it's supposed to do, then you can probably call it dead at that point. Or they'll come up with some other racer, maybe a Shift, and make that their main racer. Because I don't think EA has a lot of racers under their umbrella right now.
I think it's just Need for Speed.
So
he thinks there's one more left.
Well, no, Pred is entitled to his opinion on it.
He's an intelligent gamer, man. I gotta consider it. I gotta consider it.
Is intelligent. So look, okay. So do you think that before I go to Optimus or Dark Otter, do you think that what do you want Need for Speed to just EA to do with Need for Speed? What would be the dream outcome for you?
I've never played Need for Speed, so I really am the wrong person to ask that question. But just from the outside looking in, they need to get it more realistic and get it on the level of a Forza. If that's what they're looking for, because they don't have that genre under their umbrella. That's the only racer they have. They are kind of stuck with it unless they come up with something else. Because it will sell if they make it right. I just don't see. I don't see it competing with the Forza at this point. Because like when you think of racers, what is it? And take the tinfoil hat off. But like if you think of racers, what's the first game that comes to mind? Forza, like right now, Forza. Like maybe right fucking 10 years ago. Yeah, maybe 10 years ago it was Need for Speed, but like right now it's Forza. And what's number 2?
GT, probably. Gran Turismo.
Gran Turismo. What's number 3?
Project Cars.
Project Cars. So like you're looking at them being number 4, and in the past it was number 1, and like it wasn't even in the category.
I would have said like if we were just like saying racing game names off the bat, Forza would have been number 1. But I gotta let you know, Need for Speed.
2 Forzas actually.
But it would have been 2 or 3. It probably would have been Forza. Then it would probably been Horizon. But then I would have said Need for Speed just for my history with that franchise, man. Well, I don't know. I might be one of the rare ones.
What Mooch says, nostalgia, hell of a drug.
I'm addicted.
You played Need for Speed. I'm sorry, not Need for Speed. The other PlayStation game, but like, I just don't. I don't know, man. Just again, I'm on the outside looking. I'm not a huge racer fan, and the racers I played have been Project Gotham and Forza. I've never played Need for Speed. I tried out the last Need for Speed they had, not the Shift, but the one before that. And I wasn't a big fan of it. I went right back to Forza. So you have 2 Forzas ahead of that. You got Project Cars ahead of that.
Lemsty Pancho.
And you got Mario Kart ahead of that. And Soccer Cars.
Soccer Cars. I love Soccer Cars.
Racer of the Year last year, I think.
Well, that's stupid.
It was stupid as hell.
I'm just saying, I could see them making one more just because they don't have it. But if it flops, then you probably, I'll go with you. I think they'll just fucking scratch that motherfucker and come up with some other racer.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's speed through Otter here, man. I got stuff to say.
Go ahead. Dart. Otter. What is your thought about Need for Speed? If you played it yet, the Need for Speed franchise, is it dead? What should EA do to try to rectify to keep this franchise going?
Dude, I didn't play that trash.
Hold on, racing is niche, right?
Yeah, racing is niche, man. Come on now. Honestly, I think it is dead at this point. I don't think they can come back from this. I mean, this game definitely wasn't.
No.
Definitely, I don't think it was up to anybody's standards or anybody wanted to really like play it after the first week because they were like, this is not what we wanted. As for if they ever bring it back, I mean, that they just need to go with another racing franchise, to be honest, or just give up on racing period and just focus on their microtransactions.
Okay, all right.
I couldn't tell if that was rain or like a siren was about to hit.
That's otter noises. So that's
otter noises.
Yeah.
We're gonna Mega. We're gonna have to work on that for next time.
Well, we got to because that was pretty weak.
We gotta get it crisp. Man, we're gonna have to get that crisp.
I want to get some otter noises for you, just like I do for Livewire with his dolphin noises. So anyway,
sea mammal noises.
yes, we're gonna get our mammal noises right. Don, what do you think about the Need for Speed franchise? Need for Speed Payback, did you get a chance to play it? What can they do to rectify this? Because I think personally, as a big fan of Need for Speed, it's
it's struggling, right?
Yeah.
it's not the franchise we loved at one point in time if you played a Need for Speed and enjoyed it. The problem for Need for Speed, right? It's built its brand on arcade-ish racing, right? And I think one of the more demanding features that people really like about from Need for Speed as well is the car chases, being run from the cops, right? That's and those are the two elements you kind of have to have there if you're going to make a new one. And honestly, the formula that makes sense is, turn that thing into like a Forza Horizon version, but a little more dense. With the car chases. That's if they focused on that alone, focused on the car culture that's attracted to that particular franchise, because I don't know.
I never heard Don be so wrong before on this show.
Oh, wow.
I'm just saying, man. Like I
should have went to Snaps first.
I mean, at first I heard him going to left field, but I thought he was going to stay in center field a little bit more. But then he went way left field, and
but that's the harsh reality. Those are the main staples. Is it's the arcade racer, and it's about the car chases. Those are the two main things that they're kind of just missing or not have a clear message on. And here's the other thing with car racers. They're different than shooters, right? Shooters, like someone will play through like a shooter campaign, and if they don't like the multiplayer, they just move on, right?
Right.
With a racer, I mean, that, like a Forza, a, GT Sport, if you take, what's the other one that's escaping my mind right now, but you take those racing games, so those games usually last you all year long, right? So you don't have time to play another racing game. So those are the challenges they're faced up against. I just don't see a bright future for them until they can get their footing on their core audience that likes their products. So.
Right. Okay. Cool. What about you, Snaps? Do you even care?
No.
Okay.
Snaps, have you ever played a Need for Speed racing game?
Yeah, of course.
No.
I didn't, honestly, like, I know this is gonna sound horrible, but I didn't even know about Need for Speed Payback coming out. To be honest, like, I haven't heard anybody talk about it, or I really wasn't paying attention. But I as you guys are talking about it and how horrible it is, I'm looking at the main page where it has the scores, and it's like a 5.9 out of 10 from IGN, 5 out of 10 from GameSpot, 62% on Metacritic. So I guess I can totally see, why you guys feel the way you feel, because usually they give games that we enjoy a shitty rating. So if it's a game that we hate, it's probably much lower than what they're actually saying.
Great.
Well, there's so many more racers that's out there that's more qualified, in my opinion. You got the F1 series, you got Dirt, you have I can't think. It's a PC game. It's I ain't gonna try to pronounce it.
Of course,
Thank you. Predator is so educated.
Dude, when you can't think of it, man, you got to go to our knowledgeable gamer, which is Predator.
Yeah, when I have my problems, I'm gonna go to my brother from another mother, and I'm gonna say, Predator, Pred, what is that? And he's gonna go ahead and he's gonna help me out.
I got you, dog. I got you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. So, but that's the thing right there. There's so many other yes. And if really I'm begging for it to save myself, I will definitely go to Don and him with his teat milk and ask him, but I really don't want to. So anyway, Bot, I'm gonna go to you. I'm gonna go to you. And I know, because me and you are racing fans to the heart, and I think that you love Need for Speed just as much as I love it.
Absolutely.
So what can they do to rectify Need for Speed? What do you think about this Need for Speed? If you played it, what the hell is going on, man?
I haven't played it, and it's unfortunate. I saw that it was on sale for Black Friday, and I thought about it, but I went in and I watched gameplay. I watched how the game was structured and stuff like that, and I gotta say, it's a sad day when the developer loses the heart of, like, the consumer, of the fan. All right, loses, like, what the idea was that made their game so popular to begin with. And now I know Don said it's about the car chases and stuff like that. Need for Speed was about more than that. It was about the aftermarket life. It was about the midnight racing. It was about, like, people coming together on public streets.
Wide body kits.
Wide body kits, aftermarket parts. And they have watered that down so bad in Need for Speed Payback that the only way you upgrade your car now is with cards. They don't even have the aftermarket names for, like, the exhaust you're putting on or anything like that. And that is the core to Need for Speed. Of course, it grabbed the casual gamer for the car chases and stuff like that, but the core, the people who were fans of the franchise, they liked putting in, the endless, like, transmission or something like that. They wanted the names with what they were putting in, and they wanted to make their cars unique. Even Most Wanted, they had like these unique parts that you can get, and you can only get them one time and put them in one of your cars in Most Wanted. And that was a big thing. You were able to make one of your cars truly unique to the others. And they lost that. They absolutely lost that in the last few iterations of Need for Speed. They lost the heart of what the hardcore Need for Speed guys were coming back for. They watered it down so bad that they made it look beautiful. The game looks absolutely beautiful, but that culture, that kind of like illegal racing culture that they built on, they threw it out the window. Absolutely threw it out the window for some type of I don't know, Fast and Furious movie type atmosphere. And it turned a lot of those hardcore people away. I think they killed the franchise. If for somehow, some way, they actually, because the fans have been screaming, go back to Underground. Go back to that. And what they're talking about is the heart. Is being able to upgrade your cars with actual aftermarket parts, putting in the street glow, making your car truly that part of that kind of like illegal midnight racing type atmosphere. And they completely threw that out the window. And unless they do that again, unless somehow, some way they do a complete 180, they remember where their heart is when it came to this game, it's done. It's dead, and it's sad, man. It's absolutely sad.
Well, here's the problem, right? So, like, you have several iterations where fans of the product are disappointed, right? You're on a downward projection on your product. And what the problem is, you know, just like how Bot mentioned, he's like, man, I was thinking about picking it up, right? And then you think about not only what you're seeing on the mission structure, but you're thinking about your past experiences, right? Not just your good ones. This is where nostalgia is like kind of a bitch, right? Because the nostalgia is, you're like, oh man, some of this stuff wasn't a good experience. This wasn't the heart and soul of why I fell in love with the product in the first place. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people are not alone, right? So I mean, I played for the Need for Speed under, you know, it was a GameCube era, PlayStation 2, original Xbox, that era. Mm-hmm. I think it's the last time I ever really played a Need for Speed, because everything else afterwards, so like I just didn't enjoy it.
Dude, the Need for Speed, like, it was good before Underground, but it blew up when they completely absorbed that kind of that racing atmosphere. All right, and it's the atmosphere that they first kind of based like the Fast and Furious off of, and in my opinion, those first couple movies were the best ones because it had that heart to it, right? But as soon as you take that out, as soon as you try watering it down and go more casual and more casual, the casual gamer was picking up Underground, Underground 2, and Most Wanted for the fun factor. The hardcore, the people who were into the like kind of like illegal racing and stuff like that, like those were the ones that powered that franchise.
And, I don't know if that game ever played hardcore though. Like it never really played hardcore. It always
well,
played
Underground,
like
Underground, and Underground 2. Well, you were probably more in that casual category when it came to that. All right, but I know. Man, I grew up around friends that would look at like the RX-7 and what somebody did with their money, kind of like in Tokyo. I'll let you know right now, when it comes to that type of game, it's not dead. Let like Tokyo Extreme Racer come out with another iteration meant for this generation, and it's gonna sell a ton. All right, even if they do like another Midnight Club. All right, if they ever decided to do another Midnight Club and they put it with this generation and kept that heart of that aftermarket space and stuff, and if they put that out there, it would sell a ton. See, there's still room left there. There's still a base that wants those type of games. For some rhyme or reason, what is it, Ghost, or the development team that does this? I don't know what they did. They just completely lost focus on what made these games, what gave them that heart, and it's not there.
Yeah, they abandoned whatever they done. Now, there has been plenty of rumors going around saying that EA has taken the most talented developers that's from the departments that doesn't sell games that well and put them on other big projects like Anthem and so forth. And just like I think I brought it up 2 weeks ago about hockey and how hockey has fallen off because it's just not the same, because they've taken some of the best developers that made hockey and put them on.
And EA made some of the best hockey games ever.
Yes. Yeah. And so I think that, you know, them placing some of their best developers that was working on one particular game and put them on like UFC and things like that because they know that they can make more money. I think that's absolutely disgusting. Well, let me also say this is that where Need for Speed has lost their identity at is because one of the biggest titles that they've ever had was the Hot Pursuit, you know, and people like what you do. You can add a story, you can bring those things in where you can have the cops chasing you. You know, people love the Burnout series. You could try to implement those things like great racing games that's been out that's kind of dead. Like one of my favorite racing games was Split Second. They could easily turn that into the Need for Speed you know, mantra, and then try to feed that in, and people will eat that up because not only it's because it's, you know, the Need for Speed way is being arcadey, but then it's also action packed and it keeps people coming back. You know, so I don't know what the hell they're doing. You know,
Mega, this is the reason why when you brought this up last week, and I couldn't wait to talk about this, and you can see in the chat we got Danny Boy. He brought up Need for Speed Carbon, which was it was the next one after Underground. Absolutely amazing game. That was probably the last one that had that kind of underground heart to it. Yes. Most Wanted is absolutely amazing game as well. All right, but that was kind of like and then after that, everything just went downhill. But even was it I'm just gonna call him Vogel. You know, it said upgrading my car is what he loved doing, and they had real world manufacturing companies, and that's what I was saying, and that was awesome. For people, it was fulfilling a fantasy when it came to that kind of like illegal midnight racing type aspect. You know, you have the racing simulations out there and people love that, but this was that, man, you can go out in the middle of the night with that RX-7 that you got and you hooked up yourself, and it's a whole different world, man. And it's a world that if they do make more games that kind of embrace that world, people will buy those, man.
Yes. Well, here's was the last great Need for Speed game in my opinion. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So here's the scary thing. So we all know the thing with Battlefield 2 and the microtransactions and all that sort of stuff. You know, there is a CEO that has to answer for basically gains or losses per quarter, right? We all know the microtransactions and that kind of low game sales and expectations of how all that panned out is going to affect their bottom line. You know, one of the quickest ways that they can basically, I wouldn't say pad the books, but basically make it look like they're not burning through so much money that quarter is to cut off a studio. What do you think is the most likely studio to get cut off right now? Probably the Need for Speed guys.
Ghost.
They'll probably roll.
Ghost.
Probably roll in the core talent, and then boom, you know, they're gone. It literally, because you guys were, you know, talking about.
They need to be very careful,
I mean,
man.
It's a very real thing.
Their portfolio. If you realize what's going on here, like EA is a huge publishing company, right? Mm-hmm. But their portfolio is shrinking when it comes to diversity. Do you guys see this? Like, if they get rid of Ghost. And they roll their developers into like Anthem and stuff like that, before you know it, they have more I don't know, open world shooters type stuff like that. They're really narrowing the diversity of their portfolio, which could end up being a very, very bad move as well, man.
Let's go out and buy something else.
That's
well, no, but that is true. But then just think about that. Bot is absolutely right. Look at Dead Space. Dead Space was a great franchise. It's just because it didn't hit an exact number that they gave it up. And you would hope that somebody like Microsoft or Sony would go ahead or Nintendo scoop that up and add that to their portfolio, because it's such a good quality game that you don't want that franchise to go away like that, you know. And it's the same thing with Need for Speed. Look, EA has done a lot of changes because Burnout was classic, right? And you know, you got Forza and GT, and you have all these other strong racers that's going to outdo Need for Speed now because Need for Speed has lost its way.
Oh, dude, let Horizon get police chases in it. Like
I was just going to say that. I was going to say let them get police chases, or let the rumor of Horizon 4 be in Tokyo and have it anywhere like Carbon or Midnight Club. It's a wrap. Nothing is going to touch that. Nothing.
Wait. So Xbox said it was a bad idea for Need for Speed to have that open world with car chases, but it's okay for Forza Horizon.
No. I didn't say that was a bad idea. I said like what you were saying as like kind of like the wrong step with them in making the Need for Speed where it went wrong. That was wrong. Like what I was saying when you said.
Oh, okay.
Its basis was like the chasing and stuff like that. It was a great element, and that was the element that pulled a lot of the casuals in, and it was a great part of that game. But it wasn't the heart of that game. Was the illegal street racing, which is.
I'll be honest. Everyone that did talk about that game when it was a little bit more relevant talked about the car chases. Mm-hmm. They talked about that, right?
Yeah, and then kind of like the guilty pleasure was having the manufacturers, the aftermarket pieces, putting stuff together, deciding whether you wanted, the clutch master transmission or you wanted this transmission. I used to my first Acura, the RSX that I did in Underground, I made it all as much InGen as I could, and I repped InGen on that car, and it made me feel like I was a part of that culture.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? And that's what they're missing now. And
customization is the biggest part of racing that I think a lot of
that franchise ever since Underground came out and blew up, that franchise was based on that. They did Underground 2, and Carbon. You did 3 titles back to back to back that basically emphasized that culture, right? And then you're just going to throw it out the window afterwards?
Well, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying, like, no car company really has that culture going forward. Like, you really look at Forza, right? Like, you'll see, like, parts and stuff like that, but you don't really see the manufacturing.
One of the biggest things that people say about Horizon in terms of the downfall is the fact that when it comes to the aftermarket parts, they are very limited with that. Now, when they put in the wide bodies and stuff like that, did you see how many people's eyes widened and stuff? Because there is still a want for that in a racing game. So as I said,
genres don't die though. Like I never really think they do. Like I'm not going to disagree with you on that front, but the problem is we're talking about 2 aspects of the heart and soul of it. Like I don't think I would disagree with you that the component feature wasn't a big portion of it, right? And I don't think you would disagree with me that the police chases wasn't a
it's definitely a part. It was a layer to like the whole is what I was trying to say.
But what I'm saying is though, like ultimately neither one of us would disagree with what made Need for Speed, right? You're putting more emphasis on this, I'm putting more emphasis on that, but the reality is the problem is the series is missing those things.
Yes,
it's just missing those things. Period. Right? We're going down nostalgia lane. And we're thinking about what made Need for Speed, and it's not there. Right?
The heart isn't there. They got the police chases and stuff like that. It just doesn't feel the same.
It's not the same. It's not the same at all.
Yeah, it's not the same at all. Look, you know what? If Need for Speed, if EA decided to make Need for Speed a online only game like they did with the first
I remember the drag racing.
Need for Speed,
shout out there.
the first Need for Speed that came out in the start of this generation of the 8th gen. If they did that and then added the customization and had the cop races, and then have the modes to where you could be the cop, you could be the robber or whatever, cop or robber, and if you just had like a 24-track race with cops involved with super AI, that game is going to sell like hotcakes.
Well, but why don't you make the cops like AI? Like make that the multiplayer mode, right? Give it a multiplayer mode where you can be the cop.
You can make it a mode, but at the core,
you have a mode. Have a mode to where the cops where the cops can be the AI.
I'm just picturing Dark. I'm picturing Dark Otter in the corner, like, damn, they're talking about racing for like ever right now.
Well, yeah, because I'm sorry, but I'm just saying. But Need for Speed was great. Like some of my best gaming experiences was playing Hot Pursuit 1, 2, and 3 because of the fact that because of the I don't know, was it 3? It was Hot Pursuit 1 and 2, and then I don't know, it was Hot Pursuit 1 and 2. Let's just say that. I won't say 3, but Hot Pursuit, it was, yeah, whatever. Okay. Anyway, so the thing of it was is that
be quiet, Predator. Come on, man. Really?
What Pred say? What Pred say? What Pred say?
Fall asleep talking about Need for Speed.
Come on, man. We had 100 people watching.
I'm actually falling asleep.
Hit that like button, guys.
Yeah. I just want to say. I just want to say one thing. All right. When it comes to the next Forza Horizon, I know me and Mega said about police chases, but here's the thing. They also have to fix the one thing that people have been talking about as the negative side to Forza Horizon. And like I said, it's about aftermarket parts. So if you're going to go into that world, man, you are going to flesh out those aftermarket parts, the options and the choices, and be able to rep the brand that you love. Because a lot of those street racers that live that life, there are certain brands that they live by, and they will deck their car out with it. They will put all those parts into it, and that is as much a part of the life as being chased by cops, as winning races and stuff like that.
As nothing is more important as for people to customize their cars like you could in Midnight Club, and to be out there and and people to see what your car looks like while you out there doing what you can do. If Forza could just, because you still have the customization.
That one little thing out, man.
What does that matter?
Oh my God, man, it's over. It's over.
If Forza ever makes especially the Horizon series, ever makes a track creator, it's done.
Oh, shit.
It's done. It's a done deal, man. That's the only thing that's missing right now. It's the only thing that they need in the Forza series is a track creator. I know you guys are talking about aftermarket parts for vehicles and stuff like that. But like, what is it? Halo Forge. If they ever come out with something like that on PC for Forza, that you can use on your Xbox, it is a done deal for every racer out there.
You're absolutely right.
And I think they're close to that with the blueprints that they put in Forza Horizon 3, because you can do. There's certain the bucket list. You can make your own bucket list, and you make your own races there. You take a point, point A to point B, and you decide that, and then people, because it's open world, they can go off road and try to make the shortcuts and stuff like that they want. But you set your initial time for that bucket list and stuff like that. So they do have that infrastructure there to push forward for the next iteration of Horizon. I think Predator, you might be onto something that they're already doing, man.
Well, that would be great. That would be great. But anyway, let's move on. It was a great discussion because I know how much we.
It was a great discussion. Don't listen to Predator, man. I don't want no.
Hey, I'm doing the Morgan Freeman slap on Pred like he did on what was that movie where he slapped the shit out of Brad?
I got an idea. Everybody in the chat who loves Need for Speed,
shut up.
And let everybody know. Hit number 1 if you thought that was a great discussion, because we need to help them get back on track with Need for Speed. All right, guys. Oh, yes. 3. What's a 3?
Well, I don't know. Hit one, guys. Hit one.
This discussion has gone too long.
All right. Well, we have one more topic that actually Dark Otter wants to lead us into, or I actually want him to lead us into it, because I feel it's another good talk when it comes to the Xbox One. It's another developer really going in and talking about like their kind of their involvement or development on this system. But Dark, why don't you take it away and let people know this developer and what they're saying about this new console and piece of hardware, man.
Yeah, it's Jeff I can't even Gustafson. Gustafson. Jesus, I can't even say it.
Steinstein.
He's the executive producer on Wolfenstein 2, and for Machine Games. They were basically saying, like, with the Xbox One X being out now, it's gonna push. I think that he was basically saying like he thinks that it's going to push these developers to go in and make the 4K assets and the 60 frames per second and basically just try to get as much as they can out of the console. And the what he said is it's a super powerful machine, and that it runs Wolfenstein 2 very well, and you know it pushes the graphics of the game, in terms of just having it being in 4K and 60 frames per second. And I played it on the X, and it looks phenomenal. But for you guys, what I want to kind of ask you guys,
didn't they say something about what, like the Xbox One X, like moving forward, is doing what? Is setting the
It's setting the standard. Yeah.
Yeah.
He believes that the Xbox One X will set the standard. Now, do you guys think that the Xbox One X is going to push more games to have the 4K assets and the 60 frames per second, especially with first-person shooters? I'm going to shoot that towards Bot first because
thank you. That check is in the mail, by the way. I did ask you to pick me first when it came to this, and the $1.75 will be at your doorstep in 3 days. But it's first of all, it's good to hear these devs coming out and they're talking about like the ease of development when it comes to Xbox One X and stuff like that, which is really cool. They're talking about it setting the standard going forward. Like these developers, they want to develop on the X. What they did with the SDKs, and now the API is up to par. Everything is just all the cogs are working together right now, and it's a beautiful thing. I love innovation within console gaming. I feel like PlayStation is doing it with the PlayStation VR. You saw like Black Friday, the numbers for PlayStation VR, the sales. It's doing well again, which is good because they introduced that into the console space. Of course, Xbox is going to do it with the Xbox One X. I believe they're going to announce it E3 2018, but Sony will be forever known as the first company to put it on console like that. Now, innovation is great, and I feel that with the Xbox One X, it's pushing the traditional console gaming forward. It's making it easy, for these developers to put in the 4K assets and really flesh out their game to look the best it can. When it comes to performance, the way that they built the machine, going and checking for all kind of like the choke points within how the game is being run and processed through the machine, and fixing all those from the previous iteration of the Xbox One with the Xbox One X. It was a new way of building that hardware. Having DirectX 12 physically in the machine. Certain things that are just gonna push that innovation forward, because now if you look at the Xbox One X and what they're using with modified Jaguar cores and what they're using for the GPU architecture, now take all that innovation, the DirectX 12, fixing the bottlenecks and going from there in developing the hardware. Take all that stuff, but now put in like the Ryzen CPU, a full Vega GPU type architecture and stuff like that. Can you imagine the performance that you would get from that next machine because of the innovation that they did with the One X? I feel like they are in a great position. They are now leading the way when it comes to the console tech. And I'm happy to see it. I mean, I'm playing it every day on my Xbox One X. Even though I don't have a 4K television, I can see the enhancements on the games that have the patches for that. On the games that don't, they just run so smooth now. It's incredible. I'm happy where console gaming is going from now into the future, man. It's a great time to be a gamer, yeah.
I agree, definitely. Pred, what did you think of it?
I think like this is the way it's going to go in the future. Like, you can't make a console like this and not expect people to use the power of it. So, for the look at it this way, if they don't use the power that's inside the Xbox, I mean, how's that going to make them look? I mean, like, the assets are there. This console is made with developers in mind, and if they choose not to use the power, the assets, the ease of use of this console, and they want to make it harder on themselves, and they're not putting forth their full power of using 4K enhancements and stuff like that, like, it makes them look like shit. And here they are, like, I've seen discussions like lately on Twitter about like raising the prices of games and getting rid of loot boxes to do that and kind of stuff. Like, you can't make these moves if you're not releasing full games and using the best that you can, using every single piece of power of a video game console that you can possibly use. Like, it's just gonna look bad on them. So they're supposed to use this. That's what this console is made for. So, like, I think going forward you'll see basically a lot more 4K, enhanced, or whatever the hell they're gonna call it in the future. That's what we want. That's what we paid money for a premium console for, is to see better visuals, better graphics, better frame rates, etc., etc. Stop being lazy, devs. Like, if it's there to use and you are able to use it, use it. I'm sure Don may come back and say something about, because he's a dev, And I've bashed devs in the past for not doing things with consoles that they should be doing. But I understand they're kind of limited with some of the aspects of what's inside the console. But here we are with a console that can use and, can go forward with, the assets that we're asking for, getting closer to the PC type stuff that we're looking forward to seeing. Use it. Don't slack on us. Like, we've paid money on this console. We want to see what you can do with it. So push it to its limits.
Exactly. I agree with that. And speaking of Don, we should shoot that question to Don.
Speaking of Don, we'll just skip him and move to the next person. Man, I am edgy today. I just want to throw it out there.
Yeah, you escaped death. That's what's going on.
I got balls.
You got some balls.
All right. So what?
He's a man, Buddha.
What's your question?
What happened?
What, Don?
What's your question?
The question was, do you think developers are going to utilize...
People wonder why I repeat the question to every single person.
And the 60 frames per second, or do you think they're just going to continue to just do it the way that they've always been kind of doing it with the PS4 and stuff like that?
Well, there's a couple different things that are in place, right? You have key hardware elements on the X that allows for certain things where it's extremely difficult to do on a Pro. Actually, you can do better texture assets. There's a way to do it. It's called tidal resources, but that particular product doesn't allow for, the API doesn't really support that, right? So, higher texture assets, it's going to happen because you have more RAM, the memory bandwidth's there, right? It's not that you're going to be making special assets for the X. They already have those assets made. I mean, that's how games have always been made ever since the beginning of the 360 era, right? So all this stuff is built they have higher level texture assets, they use to make Gears 1 that never made it in the game, right? I mean, it's on somebody's computer somewhere. And so that's kind of the same thing we're going to be seeing here. The difference is those same sort of things that are going to be reserved for PC hardware are going to be allowed to be done on basically a console hardware to a certain degree, right? Just whatever makes the most sense for the amount of power that's there and how their game's made. The frame rate thing, I mean, it's not going to be everybody. Some people are going to do it. Some people are not. It just really depends on what they feel is a better solution to do with that additional power. But you're going to get better looking games. We're already seeing the support like a crazy ton, right? I mean,
right.
And that's really due to Microsoft, right? Providing the tools. That's a fundamental key factor. It's not just the hardware, right? You can innovate a lot in hardware, but if you don't have the tools to drive it or make it easy to implement your current third-party partners to be able to utilize it, then it doesn't make any sense. So Microsoft, when they set the goal for X, at least from my perspective, is they made it so really no one had any excuses, right? They took care of the bottlenecks in the hardware. They made it so, that they're not going to have to run into new bottlenecks by doing, a different CPU down the road, which is the potential of the problem with doing the Ryzen stuff and stuff like that so early on. They're able to basically just give the memory bandwidth that people are looking for. They even gave you another gig of RAM just prior to E3 to developers that already had kits. They kept asking for more RAM, which all developers will do. And they said, fine, cool. We'll cut the high resolution dashboard out of it. And probably some other features that we're probably not going to see.
I do have to say, Pred, because I don't want to type it out, man. I don't know what the hell happened, but it'll be on next week. Man, my bad. I'm fired.
What happened?
Grounded.
I'm fired, dude. We
His
didn't
gameplay?
We didn't grace the gameplay with Predators. I think it was
we'll discuss that offline.
Oh, it was probably too good. I didn't want to get shown up. You know what I'm saying?
Bot feels threatened pretty much.
Yeah, I do get threatened. Like better gameplay than mine doesn't get played. I just want to let people know that. Yeah, my bad, dude. I am an ass.
Man.
K-Meg is like, man, I've dealt with that before. Welcome to the next podcast family.
Welcome.
Yeah.
I remember you just said that too. I got something for you later. Continue, Don.
He's going to take you up on that. You know that, right?
Dude, I am actually afraid for my life right now.
He's good. He's trained to kill.
Oh,
and you and your non-violent techniques, it's not going to cut it, man. I'm just going to. But I don't know. I mean, that's my take on it. I mean, it sets the new standard. I think the new benchmark. I think where the competition is going to aim for. I think that's more or less what I think that comment is from Machine Games. To be frank.
Right. So Snaps, if she's still awake,
she is politely skipping this because she has to do her schedule. Yeah, she has to do her work schedule before it's late, and she doesn't want to get fired. So.
Alrighty, well then we'll go straight to K Mega, L Mega, loser Mega.
Legendary.
I love how
Mega.
I love how Mega embraced the L and then he made it something awesome. Like everybody thought they had him with L, and he's like, nah, it means legendary. Get it right.
It just gave him a reason to bust out in the show tunes. I don't know if that's man,
jazz hands.
Jazz hands.
I'll do jazz hands on their ass, whatever they want. What's going on, Artemis or Otter? What do you want to...
Otter Miss?
Yes, Otter missed. What do you want to grace Lord Mega with?
Oh wow!
So basically, with the X being out, do you think developers are gonna utilize 4K assets and 60 frames per second? Do you think this is going to be the new standard?
It has to be, because of two reasons. People already are seeing from many other sites and from videos that the Xbox One X is outperforming the PlayStation Pro and everything else other than people that's having a very high-end PC. And if you're not one of those people that have a high-end PC already, the Xbox One X is going to be the perfect platform for you to play the multiplats. And as long as Microsoft keeps to their commitments to saying that they're going to be bringing more exclusive IPs to their platform, sky's the limit for them. And I think not only will Microsoft keep adding to their X enhanced games down the line, because I think we're already at 36, almost 40 games right now that's got X enhanced.
It was 40 at week 1.
Yeah,
7 days went by and it was,
because I have 36 right now. So just to think of what they're going to do to keep making these games look bigger and better, especially the exclusives. Just think if they start working on Rise, Son of Rome, or Sunset Overdrive, or any of the previous Forzas other than 7, sky's the limit. You know what I'm saying? And you see already the benefits, because if you've played any of the older, even 360 Gears of War games, you see the difference. I mean, I'm playing Bound of Flames right now, and I have it on my PC, and I also have it on the Xbox. and I see the difference. And of course, because of on the PC, you still have the anti-aliasing, and you can change some things. You can still make it look better. But if Xbox decides to want to enhance those older 360 games that they have available, it's a wrap, Jack. It's an absolute wrap. So what's going to happen is that PlayStation has got to follow suit, because it's already seen that the Pro was just only it was lesser than a mid-gen, because it's not making games even better, because when you have the Slim and then you have the Vanilla outperforming the Pro, it's almost seeming like it's almost a waste of money. You know what I'm saying? The only thing that they really actually added was the HDR. Nintendo's going to do what Nintendo does, but for PlayStation, definitely has to keep up with the Joneses, and Xbox is now at the forefront when it comes to consoles.
Do you really think the PlayStation's going to have? Here's the thing: this is Microsoft's forte, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, making games scale across multiple pieces of hardware. This is what they do, right? Mm-hmm. This is something they did before there was even a PlayStation on the market. Do you think they have the expertise to do that?
Well, they are really great at making great hardware. I mean, I have a Sony television, I have a Sony speaker, I have a Sony PlayStation. I have a lot of Sony products in my home, you know, even though a lot of people think that I'm just a hater of Sony.
You hate it?
Yeah, I'm a hater of Sony, but I got more Sony products than I do Microsoft products, but it is what it is. But the fact of it is that they are really good at making great hardware. Where they're going to have to step up their game is try to outperform Microsoft when it comes to the software aspect of it. And now, since Microsoft seems to be getting their footing with their hardware, it's now, because Albert Pinello said that in the interview on Xbox Unlocked, said, look, a lot of people may think of us as just being a software company, but we can make some great hardware as well. And as you see with the Marvel, with the Xbox One X, it is state of the art. So,
dude, we've seen their hardware stuff. Like they have been really good. They're just really horrible at marketing. But you know, the OG,
here lately, this generation, they've been bad with their marketing.
OG Xbox, the Xbox 360, even going into, like, I know people talk about Windows Phone as a failure, but their hardware with that, the 950 XL with the liquid cooling, the Nokia 1520, all their hardware has been solid, absolutely solid, man. And I think people are going to be able to see it now, moving into the future a little bit more with the Xbox One X. My bad. I'm sorry for interrupting, man. I just had to say that because I've been a Microsoft consumer for like a long time. Zune HD, original Xbox, like all the way through, man. And I got to say, their hardware is top of the line, man. Like, and it's just it was that Microsoft stigma that has really held a lot of that shit back, and the marketing as well, because they didn't even market the Zune. I have no idea how I even got to know what it was. You know what I'm saying? But
it didn't help. It was Dookie Brown when it came out.
That's true. That's true.
Oh my goodness!
But I had the Zune.
I had one too.
The HD one
I had a Zune.
was sick, dude. Sick.
Microsoft comes out with a lot of shit that's before its time.
That is true.
They just don't stay with it.
Yeah, while they don't explain it.
Yeah, and even PlayStation comes out with things that are fantastic, but they don't stick with their things, because
formats are an issue with Sony just in general, right? Like they have a history of releasing good formats that no one adopts.
Right, and yeah, just like with the PlayStation VR, even though right now it's sold well because they dropped the price from 500 to $299. It's you know what I'm saying. Still, if they didn't sell a proper amount, they would throw that in the ocean, Jack. You know what I'm saying? It'd be done. They don't play any games. Like, we're not going to just keep trying to push this innovation to you if you guys are not going to buy it, and it's really unfortunate. But again, to answer your point overall, Optimus, is that that the Xbox has set the standard. You know what I'm saying? Microsoft has set the standard, and from here on out, they are going to be the ones that's going to kind of dictate the market, because how Sony came out and said that 1080p makes you a better gamer, 1080p or bust. So Microsoft says, okay, we got games that could be 4K. We got games that outperform your system. So whatever you do with the PlayStation 5, we'll trump that whenever you drop that PlayStation 5. So yeah, Microsoft is going to be the leader, regardless of sales. They're going to be the one that's going to push the market.
Which is very smart of them to do. So I mean, I absolutely agree with everything you guys have been saying. Yeah, I mean,
well, that's what we were trying to do. We were trying to get you to agree with it. No, we were just.
Well, I mean, you know, sometimes we don't always agree, but when we do, it's always good to hear that, you know, you guys feel the same way that I do about the X being the new standard.
I think the only thing we pretty much disagree. Well, there's two things we disagree with Dark Otter, and that is Forza is niche and his love for the penis demon. And that's about it.
Damn it. Oh my gosh, you guys. I played that game like one time. One time.
That's all it takes, man, to get you
I
hooked.
know. That's all it takes, but still.
All it takes, man.
All right, so Dark, did we hit everybody on this, man?
Yeah, we hit everybody except for Snaps, but I know she's pretty busy.
She said screw your question, basically.
Actually, you know what? I hit everybody perfectly, and you missed me a couple times, so.
Dude, you got to speak up more, man. It happens here on this show, and
it's like, you know,
most
I
of
don't
the
know
time.
if you know this about Bot, but he just survived death.
So at least you got gameplay footage this week.
He's not wrong. He is right about that.
Damn. I'm firing myself right now. You know, I'm taking off my milk carton cod piece, and we're about to go in.
No, keep that on. Keep that on.
Keep it on, dang it.
Well, guys, on that note, man, we have gone over 2 hours. Typical next podcast fashion. For people who don't know, I went to the Mooch School of hosting live YouTube shows, so we do have a tendency to go over. But yo, guys, I feel we had an absolutely great show. I love the topics and the opinions as usual. It is another great show in the books, but at the end of every show, you know, like a 40-year-old with a comb over, man, we got to get our plugs in. We got to let people know where they can find us.
I really hate when you say that, Xbot. I'm sitting here listening while I do my schedule, and that's gross.
But it just rolls off the tongue, though. Guys, it's colorful. Like, you can see it, right? Like, no?
Who says that? Like a 40-year-old with a comb over. Only you.
It could be worse.
Hey,
True.
It could be, man.
That is, yeah.
But anyway, well, since O-Snaps chimed in, we're gonna like go to O-Snaps first. You know, let people know where they can find you, what you're up to with your channel. You know the deal.
Hold on.
Nope. No.
So I'm in the middle of something. You guys can find me on Twitter at girlscangame22. Follow or subscribe to my channel. O-Snap, it's Mel, and yeah.
Are we possibly streaming a game tonight?
No promises right now, but most likely.
I want to. I do want to. So I'm just saying.
Okay. Cool. All right. You guys do yours, and then I'll be back shortly.
All right. All right. Next on the list, of course, it is the intelligent gamer himself, that assassin Predator, man. You got to let people know where they could get a hold of you, what you've been up to with your channel, and all that good stuff.
Well, I finally have a link now on here, so.
Oh, I'm glad you refreshed it, man, because I was like, oh shit, I didn't change it. Like, I had, as you can see, I had it all written down and everything. Like, I just had to.
No gameplay, no link, man. Come on, bro.
Yeah, I hadn't had one forever, but he finally got. At least, you know what though? Blam still does not have me on his channel as well.
Oh, so I beat Blam.
You beat Blam, and I've been on his podcast for a long time. He still has Asthmatic on there. He's not been a part of the podcast in a long time.
I gotta find out what Asthmatic's been up to, man. I want to see if he'll come on as like a guest sometimes. Just we haven't heard from him in a long time.
I don't even know if he's alive, man.
Yeah, man. I definitely want to work with PK Blam, man. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, no doubt. We weren't even talking about PTK Blam. Oh, I was talking about PK Blam. I was like, man,
him too.
I had a bathroom.
If you're listening, the legendary El Mega wants to work with you.
That's the old man talking. Right there.
No, I like PK Blam. I used to listen to his podcast all the time, man.
Dude,
and so,
dude is an awesome
he's
guy.
Great guy. So shout out to PK Blam.
We do Thursdays with him.
Predator's like, this is my time. What the hell are you doing, man?
No, not that. I'm just like.
Are we doing shout outs? Are we done?
We doing outros right now, man.
Oh, well, shit. My bad. Shit. My bad. Yes.
So Thursday nights, PTK Blam on the Shop Podcast. Obviously here with you guys. Predator_HOS. I'm usually on Twitter or Xbox Live. No footage this week. I don't know why. I'll talk to the leader of this crew here in a little bit, and we'll discuss that behind this closed doors.
You let OSnaps know what the deal is.
Outside of that,
Xbot.
I'm doing a kind of like a GoFundMe for my retirement for the military. So I'm doing something for Wounded Warriors. So I'm gonna kind of do like a GoFundMe basically for that, and all that money is going to go towards that between now and March. I want to say 30th at the end of the March. So I'll post a link here on my web channel here pretty soon and let you guys have a link so you guys can.
Nice. Now you said for Wounded Warrior.
Yeah, for the Wounded Warriors project, because typically when you retire from the military, it's about myself, which I really don't want it to be. I want to be about the people who have been out there serving, who need this money. So I want to donate whatever gifts that I receive that I typically would get for my retirement. I want to make sure instead of people buying me gifts, sending me stuff, to send this money to that so I can donate it to the Wounded Warriors project. So
maybe we could get together, work on possibly a project of like a live stream or something like that, and really get some money going towards that cause. That's a great cause, man.
Yeah, I might actually do that after seeing Snaps' video. I have a lot of time between now and my official retirement date is April 22nd, but I'm going to push it to March 20. I want to say 30th actually, and then maybe do a live stream after that to kind of get a little bit extra revenue in for it, and then at the end of the day, whatever proceeds I receive, send it out to the Wounded Warriors project and send them that check. So.
We'll definitely help you out any way we can.
Sounds good. But outside of that, man,
do you hear the inspiration that 24-hour stream, and you are inspired?
I'm not doing a 24-hour fucking stream.
You could do like a 12-hour stream or something.
Yeah, I might do something on the weekend or something like that.
Either way, we're here to help.
My official retirement date is April 22nd, so I think that'd be a good day to do it. But outside of that, I will be on Ghost Recon tonight. If anybody wants to jump in, some 4-on-4 PvP. Hit me up on Twitter. On Xbox Live, Predator_HOS.
Nice, man. All right, let's go next on the list, and of course, it's that chinchilla wearing fool. Yo, Don, what is going on with Happy Little Polygons? Do you have anything to report there? And of course, let people know where they can get a hold of you, man.
I'm gonna make you guys wait for it.
Wait for it.
Yeah, wait for it. But no, the best way to follow me on Twitter. The listing's down below, and then my gamer tag's almost identical. The difference is there's no underscore, so it's the Don space KTR. And then if you follow me, hit me up to play some games sometimes. Don't just follow me, right? Like I play games.
Hit him up to play Destiny 2 expansion, Curse of Osiris.
I am not playing that game. I'm not buying it, I should say.
You're a traitor.
Just what is there to do in that game anymore?
Like play with Xbot and help Xbot get everything that he needs to get in the game. That's what's to do.
Yeah,
come on, Vertigo and D-Bizzle know this, okay? Shout out to Vertigo and D-Bizzle. They were in the chat. I'm not sure if they're still there, but they know this. They know you come together with Xbot, you have a lot of fun, make fun of each other, and get loot. That's what you do, okay?
But the loot's got to be worth it. Like, here's the thing: is like the problem with Destiny is all the exotic stuff. They give it to you all the time, and it's not very exotic. Matter of fact, some of the purple stuff is even better than their exotics. So
that is true.
the gun system seems the game needs tweaking. If they tweak it right, maybe I'll jump back.
I got my Iron Banner auto rifle today. I am so happy.
Shut up.
Play Ghost Recon, guys. Get on that.
Which is known as pretty much any other auto rifle in the game. So, anyways.
No, aim assist is 71 out of 100, man. I can close my eyes and shoot stuff.
Oh my gosh, I can't stand the aim assist in that game. I like that's like makes me not want to play it, to be honest with you.
Yo, Don, I gotta get a couple people together. I want to get you in as well. We gotta do a Destiny 2 kind of like live discussion show sometime, man.
Man, I do want to do a raid though. I still want to just to say, hey, I did it. But the problem is everyone's gone through it and everyone knows all the secrets, and I want to go with a Get Fresh crew that doesn't know all the secrets. Yeah.
Okay.
Silence.
That's it.
Okay.
That's it. Well,
that's like the shining star of live podcast shows is dead silence. Let's move on. Let's move next on the list, and I'm burping now. My brother K Mega, like I know you have that huge list of appearances and all that good stuff. Why don't you go down that list? And I'm gonna say this before he does, guys. I really, really would love to play Destiny 2 with K Mega. I will live stream it. We will go in crazy, but we just need somebody to send him that code, man. All right, go ahead.
Yes. In the code. There's look, I can honestly say there's only been really one great person that has sent me that's bought me a game, and they bought me the Ultimate Edition of Injustice. But I already had the Ultimate Edition of Injustice, and I gave it to a Australian kid that used to hit
a kid, guys.
I gave it to a kid because he didn't have the game, and so he was his name was Pigmaster. I don't know why he calls himself. Well, he's a big Minecraft fan, so he called himself Pigmaster.
Maybe he
really
barbecues.
Yeah, and he was a little young kid. He, you know what I'm saying, and he was always talking about how he didn't have but only like 3 games, and so I gave him the Injustice Ultimate Edition. But yeah, no, man, I mean, hell, okay, Mega can take some free games, man. Pass them on, shit.
That's really nice of you, K Mega.
Oh man, no, I try to give back as much as I can, man. You know what I'm saying? I love the gaming community, and you know, I'm as much as I am a huge Xbox fan, I'm a gamer fan first, and you know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter if you PlayStation, PC, Nintendo, we all in this together at the end of the day. And you know, so but just remember, Xbox is the best box. But still, you can catch me on you know what I'm saying? You can catch me on the GRG podcast every Friday night after Crossfire. Come check us out. It's fun crew.
I was going to say, if you haven't checked out GRG, definitely. He invites everybody and their mom to the show. Yes. So it is like a huge like gaming party over there, man.
Sometimes he gets a little drunk and gets
crazy. Yeah. You know what? 2 weeks ago, I got a little drunk, and a lot of people were saying that, you know, I gave all day the ejecto button. And you know, that stuff. Look, man, it's, you know, I apologize for that show, because that was, you know, for that first hour it was wild. But other than that, man,
if it was on all day, then that's fine. You know?
It's like an Oklahoma like potluck. That's the best way to describe his
potluck. Oh my god! Hey, my Oklahoma Sooners, Boomer Sooner, we just crushed.
Big old pot of penis, demon.
Yeah. Well, anyway, okay. Well, there was one thing that I was going to say though, because Bot just skipped me, but he was trying to be slick with it because he forgot about asking me about the Black Friday sales. But I was going to mention that on the PlayStation they had Persona 5 for $30, and I was actually thinking about getting it because I don't know if it's going to be that cheap ever again. And I was thinking about I was going to stream me playing the Penis Demon, but I don't know. I don't know. So because if it was 25, I would have caught it. I just don't know. But anyway, you can catch me on the GRG podcast. You can catch me on the next podcast as you hear me tonight. You can catch me on BGST, the granddaddy of them all, and the multiplayer whenever I can. And, you know, that's on Zaire's Next Gen 720's channel. And, man, you know what I'm saying? This is a great time. Happy holidays for everybody that's out here in the U.S. and wherever. And, man, let's let's keep it gaming, man. Love it.
Nice. And Dark Goldblum, I believe it is time for you to let people know where they can get a hold of you, man. I know you have a Twitter. Are you on Twitter at all, man? What's going on here?
Dude, finally, after like 30 minutes of these guys doing their freaking outros, I can do my outro.
Man, what are you,
that's the end of the show, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
That was Fred was long as hell. Man. Fred into this speech.
Well, y'all cut me off like twice, man.
That's true.
So I had to start over.
He did have to start over.
Dude, no, I dread the day that, like, when it comes to cutting off, if somebody on the panel decides they're going to start over each and every time they get cut off, this show will never end. Ever.
No, it won't. But no, you guys can find me on Twitter at Dark Anonymous. You can also find me on Xbox Live at the same name. You can also catch me out on the Quest podcast every Thursday night at 6 p.m. East, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, and that's about it, man. I'm always down to do other podcasts too. So if you guys want me to do more podcasts, hit me up on Twitter or whatever.
Yo, Pred, I don't know what you're doing in the next podcast, like DM, but that is just disturbing, dude.
I don't have a dog. I don't have a otter, but I'll do this. I have this though. I have this though. Let me hold on. Let me go back. Let me do this again for you. There we go. No. There we go.
We gotta get an otter, man. We gotta get a.
we gotta get an otter. I mean, that's the next best thing, man.
I will say, definitely check out Quest Podcast. It has one of my favorite podcasters on the panel, and of course, it is M. Baines. Every
Sir
Thursday.
Yo, Sir M. Baines, damn it.
The dude, he is a natural. You got to check out that show. And as usual, guys, it is Saturday.
What about remix?
What?
Yeah.
What's a remix?
It's almost 10 o'clock here.
Yeah, I know, guys. As usual, yeah, I know you want to get the controllers in your hands. I do too.
I forgot we had a female in the group because you know what? Snap sounds like Lady Infamous and Delilah. You got a certain time. Get your punk ass on.
Man. Dude, that should happen one day on GRG. Just have Lady Infamous, Delilah, Snaps, possibly Luca. Like,
I would love Snaps to go, but she's always peddling cookies. Whenever she come on.
I can eat cookies. I'm trying to quit my job and Xbox won't let me. Okay.
Okay. Whenever you get a chance, come on to GRG and you could just punk the shit out of us with the rest of the women. Go ahead.
Oh man, yo, like that.
I will
that
someday.
That trio will kill
right,
you guys. That trio will kill you guys.
I'm not saying nothing. I don't even know if I host.
But guys, as usual, yo, to everybody in the chat who checked out the show live, yo, thank you so much for the support. Everybody who checks out the show afterwards, guys, you inspire us to come together every Saturday and give you the most informative, entertaining gaming podcast that we can, and we thank you guys so much for the support. I'm just gonna end it as I do every Saturday. We will check you guys out next Saturday for the next podcast. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Justice League, go see it. It's a good movie.
Oh gosh.